synonymous with the It's amazing. It's one of the coolest songs ever. And I remember as a youngster going to Comets games with my uncle, who was a big soccer fan, and my cousins were soccer. They were the only people I knew that watched or played soccer back in the day. Was my cousin and my uncle, who was his soccer coach, and they would go to Comets games. They had season tickets there, and every once in a while they would take me, and what a great time it was back then and still is today. Just a great night out for the family going to Comets games, and that comes up on the 29th on Saturday when they will take on the lower cases.
St. Louis.
Yeah, the lower cases. I like to call them the lower cases. St. Louis, the ambush. Well, you know what? They're going to get ambushed here in Kansas City. kccomets.com for more information. So that comes up next Saturday, November 29th, right after Thanksgiving. You get a nice little Thanksgiving meal. You get full off of some food, and then you get full off some entertainment with the Comets on that Saturday. So looking forward to that. So that is great. And Media Day going on today, and we will try to catch up with a couple of those representatives with the Comets today as Sterling is out there. Can you is everybody staring at you while we're talking? Because that's what are you on a stage there? Because I want to imagine you being on a stage in front of everybody, because I hate public speaking. I'm not a fan of it. And I talk on the radio, but I'm really just talking to you and Michael and Jack and whoever else is hanging out here. That's all I think of whoever is listening or watching. And on a public stage and public speaking, I can see them looking at me, and all I'm thinking about is I don't even know what my words are. You know, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I don't know what to do with my hands. So are you on a stage?
Yes, slightly on an elevated surface, and it was turned up as loud as possible.
Yeah.
The reason why I said ZZ Top was that was the loudest concert I've ever been to, and that was the concert that I actually introduced ZZ Top on stage. This was probably 15 years ago or so now, and I always look back on that, and that was probably the most nervous I've ever been. I don't really have a fear of public speaking, but at that moment, introducing ZZ Top on stage, I think that was the moment where I was like, yes, I am terrified right now. I am 16. I can't do this, but I did it, Jason. And because of that, I overcame my fear.
You live a farcical life.
Well, yeah. You should know this by now. This is what I do.
The more and more I get to know you, the more I realize what kind of life you have lived and how unrealistic it is for anybody else that could have lived that particular life.
Well, Jason, I told you when we went to Tahoe,
I know.
The things happen, and then, of course, I walk out, and I see this lady win like 37 grand on a slot machine. Again, you follow me. Hey, you hang with me, kid, we'll go places.
Oh, man, it's fantastic. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we will talk with Matt Lane. I want to start off with the Kansas City Chiefs, though. They get set for the Indianapolis Colts. And it's interesting seeing, like, Twitter versus maybe those that have to go on record with interviews and things like that. For example, like there are, like on Twitter, which is real life, we all know this, there is it certainly feels like there is a more of a consensus or more of a confident feel that the Colts, outside of Kansas City, that the Colts are going to come into Kansas City and win. And I don't think that's crazy to think the Colts can come in and win. I mean, we've seen the Kansas City Chiefs this year. They're a 5-5 team taking on a team that's 8-2. Taking on a team that's found ways to win late games, being a team that has found ways to lose games late in those one-score games. And so it is not crazy to think, well, the Colts, with one of the best offenses in the league and the best running back in the league, or, you know, numbers-wise, but certainly ability too, up there with Bijan and Saquon, and the numbers are just crazy this year for Jonathan Taylor and skill position players. And if Charvarius Ward returns, you would have Sauce and Ward and Moore out there on the field. I know there's no DeForest Buckner playing, but, you know, you would have a couple of other guys coming back healthy for that team. Like, yeah, it is not crazy to think the Colts would come into Kansas City and win. But what I've seen in terms of like whether it's fan sites for the Colts or just in general non-Chiefs fans, whatever, there is this, the Colts are going to go in and win, and it's going to end the Chiefs' playoff hunt. And last night on the KC Take with Andy Sweeney, he had somebody on from the Fan in Indianapolis, and his assessment was, as good as the Colts are and the Chiefs struggling, like I can't honestly sit here and take an unbiased look and say that the Chiefs are going to die until they are dead. And so he picked the Chiefs winning 27-23. I thought that was interesting because that's somebody who has to go on record in Indianapolis and say, no, I don't think the Colts are going to win this weekend in Kansas City. Whereas the last couple of days, I've said my confidence for this game has waned to the point that I found myself leaning towards the Indianapolis Colts winning this game. But as it gets closer, I'm like, again, until the team is dead, they are a team that constantly finds ways to have another life. Like the 9 lives of a cat, it feels like every year they start over with 9 lives. Now, I think they spent all of those lives last year throughout the course of the season, and they're going to have to start using some of those lives right now because they are they're not flatlined yet, but it's there's some rushing doctors and nurses into the room right now to check
some
on.
Slow beeps are going on.
Why
Jason,
are the beeps happening?
Slow beeps.
Why are the beeps happening? What's the deal? And they're having the family leave the room. Sorry for what would be a morbid, scene, but that's what's going on with the Chiefs right now. I mean, I don't want anybody if had that happen. That's terrible and scary. But and this is just sports. But this is where the Chiefs are in terms of the football world. And I was reading last night, Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler do their sort of around the NFL takeaways on Wednesday, and they cover, there's so much that they get into and talk about. So it is a longer read, and there's a lot of stuff to take away from what they're hearing, what their opinion is, sort of combining those things. And something stood out to me with Dan Graziano, who was in Kansas City last week, or in Denver, I should say, last week for the Broncos and Chiefs game. And he said, and it's quoting, but it says, this is, yesterday, Kansas City felt like they needed to go 2-1 in the next 3 games coming off the bye. They've already lost one of them, so these next 2 games feel like must-wins. And what I'm wondering there, if that's the case, right? If that's the case, you can go, we need to go 2-1. There's a sense of urgency, but, there's a sense of urgency every single week, like we heard them talk about last week. Whereas if they really felt they needed to go 2-1 and they're 0-1 to start, well, then that sense of urgency would be, okay, now you're playing playoff games. But it's so generic of Kansas City thought they needed to go 2-1 because that sounds like analytics say punt here. Analytics says to kick the field goal. Analytics says go for it on 4th down. Who is Kansas City? Was it Andy Reid in a conversation with Dan Graziano? Was it Brett Veach? Was it Patrick Mahomes? Was it a fan that was walking to the stadium that Graziano said, hey, let me talk to you real quick. You're wearing a Chiefs game. What do you think needs to happen over these next 3 weeks to feel confident about the Chiefs going to the playoffs? I feel like we need to go 2-1. Boom. Kansas City thinks they need to go 2-1. Now, I doubt that's what Dan Graziano would go on the record with. Is just some random fan. Well, B.J. Kissel took his son to the game last Sunday as their father-son trip that they take. I felt bad for him. I was envious of him when he was taking video of he and his son walking to the stadium. I did not feel bad for him, or I felt bad for him at the end of the game. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't take that trip, right? That would have sucked. Just like my son's basketball coach, huge K-State fan. And he was like, yeah, we were planning a trip to go down to Stillwater and watch the game. And we decided, something came up and we couldn't go. And he's like, God, am I glad we didn't go? Like, yes. Before the game sounds great. After the game, thank God we didn't do that. But I bet it was a fun time for BJ and his son. I don't think Dan Graziano probably walked up to BJ Kissel and said, hey, what do you think? Kansas City says this. So that stood out to me, along with a number of other things they talked about. There was a pretty decent part of that, which was about the Chiefs. But that's what stood out to me the most, because everything else they're talking about are things that we've talked about. The running game, the late games. They were undefeated in one-score games last year. They're 0-5 this year. They can't win. Like, the same things, and I don't know why they sound like that, but that's just in my mind what it sounds like when we take that and look at it from the difference of last year. They were playing from in front, and other teams got it to a one-score game and they won, where this year they're playing from behind, and other teams are. And the Chiefs are catching up in 3 of the 5. That's, more than not. It's been the Chiefs trying to catch up and making it a one-score game. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm making too much of that. But I don't think Dan Graziano would be talking to somebody outside the organization and say Kansas City felt like going into the Broncos game they needed to go 2-1. Maybe that's front office. Maybe it's Andy Reid. I don't know. But if that's the case, I think that's pretty fascinating going into now these next 2 weeks, because there ain't no – we're going to hold something back because we may see this team again later on in the playoffs. No, this would be playoff football for the Chiefs now the next couple of weeks if they really felt 2-1 was what they needed to do to feel good about making the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that they need to for a multitude of reasons, not just for what the Chiefs, their side of things, to hold up their end of the bargain. But you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars' final schedule, and they have some games against the Titans and the Jets, and I think the Browns may be thrown in there. I mean, it is again, on paper, should be a cakewalk. They went to the harder part of their schedule at 6-4 with the tiebreaker over KC. The Chargers are at 7-4. Again, they will play one more time against Kansas City, so the Chiefs at least have that opportunity. But you're sitting here going, they're 7-4 with a plethora of injuries, yet they keep finding ways to win. You look at maybe the only team that could really falter as the Steelers and the Ravens. Of one of those two teams probably make the playoffs. I think we're all assuming it's going to be the Ravens. They're going to catch the Steelers. The Steelers have a tough end to the end of their schedule for the season. But, I mean, you look at it, and the Chiefs are in a very precarious spot. You have to beat Houston, but beating Houston doesn't guarantee you making the 7th seed. That just puts you in the 8th spot. So, yeah, the Chiefs have some jumps to make, and you look at some of these teams ahead of them that already hold the tiebreaker and have fairly easier schedules to end. Again, any given Sunday, anything can happen. Injuries can happen. But you're just looking right now, and yeah, the Chiefs, they need to win these next 2 games, because if not, it is, I don't want to say all but over, but the fat lady is starting to sing.
Yeah. That's a better way to put it, instead of the morbid, scene that I painted earlier in the show talking about what's going on with this particular Chiefs team. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Sterling is there at the Soccer Dome. It's the Comets getting ready for their season opener a week from Sunday. KCComets.com is where you can go and check out and get tickets for that. On the other side of the break, I do want to go through, Sterling, and see how do the Chiefs get to a minimum 10 wins. They're sitting 5-5 right now. 7 games to play. They got to go 5-2 to get to those 10 wins. But I want to look through the schedule as we would before the season starts, with now the 10 games of information and data that we have, and look through and say, how do they get to 10? Is 11 a possibility? And is 12 a possibility? We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. 913-912-4810 coming up at 11 o'clock. Matt Lane, Chiefs press conferences, 11:45. Sports or Leisure, 1 o'clock. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes is hanging out at the Soccer Dome. The Kansas City Comets getting ready for the 2025 season, starting a week from Saturday and being played, their home games as we know it, beautiful Cable Dahmer Arena in Indianapolis. It's a fantastic venue and just
Independence, Jason. They're not. If you have to go to Indianapolis, that'd be a long drive.
Well, I
it's
mean,
Independence.
Here's the thing: wouldn't it be worth it though?
It would be still.
You know, if
it
you were,
still would be worth
you know, if you were on a Comet, you'd get there fast. That was dumb. Whatever. You know what? You shut up, Sterling. Yes, Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence. I don't know. The acoustics aren't great. You know, I haven't warmed up my voice. I don't know. How did the Chiefs get to 10 wins? Let's just move on. But KCComets.com, you can go check that out and get tickets there as a media days today for the Comets and being played at Cable Dahmer Arena, the one in Independence. They've decided to change venues this year. They're moving from playing their games at Cable Dahmer Arena in Indianapolis to Independence, and that's great because Indianapolis is coming to town. So hopefully they don't leave with the Comets. Hopefully they leave with an L as well. So they're sitting 5-5. How do they get to 10 wins? And looking through the remaining part of their schedule, the 7 games that they have, so, that means they need to go 5-2. Okay, there you go. Well, if we look at the schedule, would we assume that they win against the Titans and Raiders? Because those would be, if you're at that part of the season and you're trying to make the playoffs, those are must-win games, right? Those are getting to the point of where it's like, okay, you have to win these games. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those down as W's. That the Chiefs, needing 5 wins, they have 2 of them with the Titans and Raiders. We have seen the Chiefs lose some head-scratching games before. We saw that happen against the Jags earlier this year. And I don't think, and those are sometimes early in the season, or when they feel like they're in a pretty decent position already leading the division, where they were in 2023 when they had that crazy loss to the Raiders and they fell to 9-6, but still winning the division, falling to 9-6. That's different this year. If they put themselves in a position to be inside the playoffs and they go to the Titans and they lose that game, that would be disastrous, obviously. Losing to the Raiders in the last game of the season, if it's a you win and you're in, you lose and you're out, or you win and you need some help still, but the playoffs are on the line, they win that game. So I'm going to put them at 2-0, at 2 wins. So that means they need to go 3-2 to get to 10 wins over the remaining 5 games. Those 5 games being Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, Broncos, with 4 of those being at home. Do they take care of home field advantage? Do they take care of business? We'll see. I'm going to mark another one down, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't believe in the Chargers, and I think they're heading in the wrong direction. And they have the bye week right now. I'm giving the Chiefs a win against the Chargers in Week 15 on December 14th. So I think those are 3 wins now. So that puts them with 8 wins, meaning of the other 4 games to get to 10, I think they need to go 2-2 to get to 10 wins. And that's Colts, Dallas, Houston, and then Denver. I think 2-2 is incredibly doable because 3 of those are at home. And the one road game, I believe, became a tougher matchup with the trades that the Cowboys made and on a short week. But if that is the loss, that's the most ideal loss for them to suffer, is the one against the Cowboys, because you can get the tiebreaker on the Texans and Colts in case the Colts don't win the division, and then help yourself in the division with the Chargers and the Broncos, the Broncos, because I've already given them the win against the Chargers. So I've got them with 8 wins right now. Do they go 3-1 or 2-2? If they go 3-1 in those other four games, they're in the playoffs with 11 wins. If they go 2-2, it's going to depend on some tiebreakers. They would have it over the Texans and the Chargers, depending on what happens the rest of the way, obviously. But again, I think the Chargers are heading in the wrong direction. What say you, Sterling? Agree with that assessment? Is that too strong and positive from what we've seen from the Chiefs in this 5-5 stretch? Because while they're playing a first-place schedule, the most difficult teams that they play are at home in the AFC, and the one road game is an NFC team against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think to me, you might be a little, I don't want to say overzealous, just in regards to like not guaranteed wins, but that Chargers game.
I'm putting the Sterling stamp on the Titans, Raiders, and Chargers. There you go.
I think it's maybe a little aggressive because the any given Sunday and this team has shown the ability at times to not show up, but I will give the Chiefs this. They've shown up and hammered the bad teams. The Raiders, they hammered. The Commanders with Marcus Mariota, they hammered. The Giants, I don't know if hammered's the right word.
Hammered in the second half.
22-9.
I mean, essentially.
Yeah, and so
once Mahomes stopped throwing it backwards, they hammered him.
So of the bad teams, they have done that. So I will give some credence to that. I don't think that Chargers game is as easy as you're making it out to be because they're finding ways. And when you have Justin Herbert and you have those the receiving core that they possess, I just can't guarantee or put a Sterling stamp on that. But that game matters. The Chargers game and the Texans game matter more than any other game because those are teams that you will be fighting with playoff seeding for the probably 7 seed, maybe 6 seed in the bottom of the AFC playoff picture. You're right, the Cowboys game doesn't matter, and I am worried about that Cowboys game. You never know what Cowboys team you're going to get. Sometimes they look incredible, sometimes they look horrific, but you don't know. They did revamp that entire team. They did go in, which was surprising. I think a lot of people thought they might sell, but Jerry Jones, being Jerry Jones, was a buyer, and it actually might work out for them.
Yeah.
I think the games that I have circled, that Broncos game obviously on Christmas. I think that Chargers game is circled. The Texans game is circled. The Cowboys and Colts. If you can find a way, what is that, 5-6 games? Because you're right. I will give them Titans and Raiders. Those 2 games I will acquiesce and agree with.
Okay, great.
So that's
stipulated.
You're almost hoping the Broncos don't have much to play for in Game 16, Week 17.
I can't imagine that would be the case, though, right? I mean, because they'll be battling with New England and maybe Indianapolis, depending on that. If they drop a game along the way, maybe the Bills. Like that's. But to your point, yes, I would agree. You almost hope that somehow they've got this wrapped up. They've got a 1-game lead and the tiebreaker over the other person that can tie them, so they are good to go, and now they can almost coast these next 2 weeks.
I actually think. Sorry, go ahead, Sterling.
No, I was going to say, just right now, I still think the Chiefs find a way to go 11-6, but I'm getting nervous by that. The underlying metrics scream they should be better, but this is not baseball. You don't have a 162-game sample size. You have a 17-game sample size. It's why sometimes analytics in football, I don't want to say they can lie to you, but they can be misleading.
I feel like the Texans game is almost more of a layup than the Chargers. And it's just because the Chargers are in division. I understand that Houston's got a very stout defense, but is C.J. Stroud going to come back? I think that's one of those games that if the Chiefs go out and play their best football, which we haven't seen a lot this year, they should be able to win that game, in my opinion, easier than the Chargers. Now, when you look at the schedule, you seem to think the magic number to get in is 10-7.
10-7 has every AFC team since they've moved to 17 wins with at least 10 wins has made the playoffs. Only one of the AFC and NFC teams since they moved to 17 games that got at least 10 wins missed the playoffs. One out of 30 or some odd that had at least 10 wins, 40 or something like that. I don't know the exact number. I just know it was like one of every team that won at least 10 games made the playoffs, and that was in the NFC. So that's 10 wins has gotten you in when they got to 17 games.
I feel like you'd have to do some scoreboard watching.
For sure.
But 11-6, I don't want to say guarantees you a playoff spot, but you feel good.
I think 11-6 gets you into the playoffs. I would say almost like if we look at Titans and Raiders and say those are wins, and they're sitting with 7 wins right now. So it's like, okay, they've got 7. How do they get to at least 10 wins or 11? I would make a case that if at least 10, if you said they go 3-2, I'd make the case that I will take the 3 wins being Colts, Texans, Chargers, and a loss to the Cowboys and the Broncos. Because you're already so far behind the Broncos, you're not catching them in the division. So losing Week 17 to the Broncos is not going to cost you a division if you are sitting there going, if you go 1-1 over these next 2 weeks, Christmas or in Vegas, you make the playoffs, and they lose that game to the Broncos, One, they wouldn't have the tiebreaker. Two, they're not playing for the division. So they need the tiebreaker over the Chargers, the Texans, and the Colts. So if they go 3-2, it needs to be at least the three of the four AFC teams that they beat. And I would rather it be the Colts, Texans, and Chargers. It would suck to get swept by the Broncos, but in terms of making the playoffs, that would be the least detrimental loss of the AFC teams that they play, not named Titans and Raiders. So there's my assessment. I think they can get to 11 wins, but if they're going to get to 11 wins, they have to win on Sunday, because I can't expect them to then go undefeated the rest of the way and go 6-0 while being 5-6 to get to 11 wins. I think you beat the Colts, you throw in the Titans and Raiders, you are at 8. And now you're looking at it and going, can you go 3-1 with 3 of the 4 games being at home against Texans, Chargers, Broncos, and then a road trip to Cowboys? You win the next 2 games, if in a week from today or a week from tomorrow we wake up, if they are 7-5, I think they get to 11 wins, because Titans and Raiders would put them at 9, and you would need to go 2-1 against Texans, Chargers, and Broncos all at home. So a week from tonight, 11 wins might be very much real in the sights for the Chiefs. It also might be, oh my God, there's 5-7. And they should probably be playing for a draft position the rest of the way, because they have to go undefeated just to be 10-7, just to be, and they, tiebreakers and all of that stuff would start to work against them. So we'll see. This is a crucial 7 games or 7 days. Obviously crucial 7 games, but 7 days. If they can go 2-0 in these next 7 days, I think they are probably an 11-win team. But we've seen this team, and we've seen them not come through in clutch situations, which is interesting, hearing people pick the Chiefs to win like 24-21, 24-20.
Because they've done it all year long.
Because they haven't won a one-score game yet. They've won in a blowout. So if the Chiefs are going to win, it's probably going to be something like 30-20. 31, 23 or something like that. More than a one-score game. It's just what we've seen so far. All right, we need to take a timeout. We'll do that right now. We continue rolling along. Sterling is hanging out at the Soccer Dome. It is the Kansas City Comets. They are getting ready for their season opener next Saturday. A week from Saturday, not the next Saturday. You always wonder, like, next Saturday, do people read that as the next Saturday coming up or the Saturday after this one coming up? Because next Saturday would, in literal terms, would be the next Saturday, which is 2 days from now. But that is not when their home opener is. That's not when the season opens. It is a week from Saturday at Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence, in fact. More Zone coming up next. We're only a few weeks in, and the NBA season is already wild. Stars are going off, rookies are making noise, the action doesn't stop, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. That ending last night with the Mavs and Knicks, are you kidding me? Tie game, would have been a tie game. Landry Shamet playing defense on Williams. Williams with the offensive foul, the hook, and they wave off the basket. Mavericks fans going crazy because he makes the bucket with like a second left to go to tie it up, but it's a foul. He's going to the free throw line. Oh no, it's an offensive foul and a hook on Williams, with Landry, KC in the house, Park Hill in the house, defending Williams there and helping the Knicks get that win. What a wild game and a wild finish in the NBA. And don't forget, the Emirates NBA Cup is rolling along as well. Big moments, big matchups, a whole lot on the line. Don't miss out. Jump in and bet on the action today. New customers, bet just $5 and get $200 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Kansas only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes right here. We are at the Soccer Dome. We are talking indoor soccer. We are talking Comets soccer. Joined now by Chad Vandergriff as well as Marcel Berry. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a lovely day in November. It's not too bad, huh?
Yeah, feels great.
I feel bad taking you guys off the pitch right here. I feel like this is my fault. I'm the one harassing you guys.
Hey, don't worry about it. You know, today's exciting. We have some supporters and fans out here, so we got to mingle with them before practice a little. So things are ramping up right around the corner, which is exciting.
Weirdest question you got asked by a media member or fan so far? Anything?
Nothing weird. Just questions that you would expect, especially from me last year, being out all year, most of the year. The most common question I got asked is, "How are you feeling? How's your Achilles doing?" So.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Feeling great. Ready to go. Achilles is feeling really good, better than expected, to be honest, and ready to go for this season.
So you are actually coming from St. Louis.
Yep.
You were from St. Louis, and the Comets play St. Louis coming up. So first and foremost, what's this mean for you guys playing either your former team or a place where you grew up?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm part of the Comets, so I don't really care if it's my hometown or a previous team I've played for. I want to win, and I'm sure Marcel feels the same way. It is nice to have some family and friends in the arena. But yeah, they're one of our rivals as well. I mean, I think we play them more than any other team. 3 hours down the road. So yeah, we want to start out with 2 wins against them that first weekend.
For you, coming from St. Louis now to here, what are some of the differences in the organizations as well as the city? I know we were joking about some of the maybe not as great parts of the food aspect of St. Louis compared to KC, but what have you seen with some of the differences here?
I mean, the food aspect in KC is great too. The barbecue here is amazing, and I'm still trying new spots around here, but all the places I've been to have been great. But for me, I just love playing old teammates and going back and forth with them and the old players I used to play against, and having a rivalry with them is pretty cool. So playing old teammates, seeing old friends, and trying to beat them. Just I was playing with them a couple years ago, and trying to beat them now is still fun too. So,
Chad, for you have won 2 Defender of the Year awards. What does that mean? You won one last year as well. What does that mean? Just that recognition, being the best defender in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the awards, not going to lie. But at the same time, I want the championship.
Yeah.
And we were super close 2 seasons ago. Did very well last year, but with the team we have this year, we want a championship. That is our goal. It's not to make playoffs. It's not to be the best team in regular season. We're going to set small goals, try to achieve those, but ultimately we want to win a championship, and the organization has done a great job this year of keeping players and also going out and adding some great additions.
Where do you put the trophies? On the mantle?
I have a few set up, but one day I might put them all up there.
you have a place for the championship to be, just right in the middle. That's where it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, there's some trophies in the locker room. Coach was talking to us. We got the I-70 Cup, which is the rival against St. Louis, and we got a couple other ones in there, but we want that MASL Ron Newman Cup.
What do you think will take you guys to that next step? Again, the Comets have been very good over the past couple of seasons, but to get to the mountaintop, what do you think the biggest difference will be?
I mean, for me, I think it's just consistency throughout the year. I think we started the year super hot last year, and we had our ups and downs, but if we play the type of way we want to play all year and continue to play Comets ball, I think, I don't think there's a team out there that can stop us.
Yeah, and consistency, and I think being on the same page. Our coaching staff is very organized, and we have a practice plan, and we have game plans. And if we all buy into that and we all execute that, I don't think we'll have a problem with our talent here. So just being on the same page and really trying to execute the game plan.
How would you describe Comet soccer to someone who is maybe going to go to some games this year? They haven't been in the past, but they're excited. How would you describe your brand of soccer?
I would say it's exciting soccer. We play fast pace, high speed. We like to go forward, score goals, and we like to impose our style of play on other teams instead of just sitting back and waiting for them to do something. We like to put our first foot forward and play hard.
Yeah. Not only is it a great team here and a great organization, but just the whole product. I guarantee if you haven't been to a game and you come to Cable Dahmer, you'll want to come again. You'll have a great time. It's electric, like you said. It's a great production, the best in the league.
Yeah, and it's a great arena. I love Cable Dahmer. Cable Dahmer is phenomenal. There's not a bad seat. I hate when people say not a bad seat in the house, and like you're a liar. Like there are bad seats. Like you've been to some places, and you're like, no, that's a bad seat. You have an obstructed view. What am I looking at? No, Cable Dahmer is phenomenal. I've always really, really enjoyed that arena. Jed, for you, 13 years now. You're entering your 13th year. Mm-hmm. How do you get up just every day? Like this is me. I'm back at it. How do you find the energy and the drive to succeed? 13 years in.
Yeah, it's been it goes quick. It feels weird, but kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. Playing in an environment like in front of the Comets fans at Cable Dahmer, like that keeps you going. That keeps you waking up early, coming to practice, because it's exciting on game day. So that helps keep my drive going for sure.
For you, Marcel, they've said that you can't coach speed. Is that how you describe your game, speed?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I try to use my speed as much as possible to give myself an advantage. Other players use whatever they have to give themselves an advantage, and I got speed, so that's what I use.
We were talking a little bit before, and it's a little different league setup this year. 8 teams this year. You're going to see each other a lot more often than in years past. Back obviously years past, you're facing more teams only a few times a year. Now you have the core 8 right here. These 8 teams are the best of the best. How exciting is that this year around where, okay, maybe you can't beat up on some of these other teams down here. Maybe you only see them once or twice. Now you're going to have a good outlook on these teams. What does that look like, just the change?
Yeah, I think this season will be very competitive, and you can't overlook any team. You have to worry about being the best team, best version of yourself on that day. There's nobody that you can look past, especially with back-to-back games and things like that. So you're going to see a lot of tight games and a very, very competitive season.
Yeah, I would just say no days off. You take one day off and take a week off, and you might lose a game here or there, and that's not going to be good in this season where you got so many competitive teams this year looking to try to win a championship.
Let's do some superlatives before we get out of here. Funniest teammate.
Ooh, that's a good one, honestly.
Besides,
we have a lot of guys.
Don't say me, Marcel.
Oh, okay. My bad.
He was thinking about it. I knew he was.
Honestly, the locker room is it's always a good time. I mean, we're supposed to get here early, but we want to come here early because there's a lot of banter in there. And people from all over, not just different states, countries. So
sure,
the Brazilians act this way, but we all come together. So there's banter. Marcel, did you find somebody?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, guys like Zach and Steph have always got good banter together with them, and then like you said, the Brazilian guys have good banter.
Souza's pretty funny.
Yeah,
right?
Souza's funny.
We had a media day the other day taking photos, and he had his Snapchat, and he was putting the filters on all the guys, and then he put them up on the TV. And then the other day, it was pretty funny.
Who do you want to have the aux cord? The guy you want to play the pregame songs?
I think for me, not just the aux cord. I want him to be on the dance floor. It's got to be Junior. He's got to have the aux cord with the dance floor going. Hitting the dance moves as the music's flowing. So
who usually works the music? Is it Nacho?
Sure.
Zach does sometimes. Nacho.
The guy you don't want to have the aux cord. There we go. That might be the more important question here.
I heard Kenny Mayer. That's not coming from me.
Yeah, that's
not from you. That's from someone else, huh? And then we'll end here. Breakout candidate. Who do you think is going to have the biggest jump up this year for the Comets that takes you to that next step? Who do you think that maybe is being under talked about, undervalued right now?
For me, I'm gonna go Lucia Tetsane. I think always playing against him, he was always a great player, and seeing him this year coming out in preseason, he looks really good. He looks strong, and I think he's a defender that can go forward really well and has a great left foot, so that's going to be Lucia for me.
Yeah, and for me, like, I know every player on here wants to have a better year than they did last year. That's just the type of players we have here. I'm I'm curious to see how some of the first, but not the first, the second year players do in their third year. I think just learning the game, having 2 years under their belt, I think you can see a lot of those guys have a breakout year. You know, you got Mikey, you got Leo. So yeah, just curious to see how some of those second, third year players do.
Defender of the Year, Chad Vandergriff. Speedster, excited to be back from injury, Marcel Berry. Make sure everyone listening, you go to kccommons.com, get those tickets. You want to be there. I-70 rivalry test against St. Louis. Come on, everyone here in Kansas City, we know we are better than St. Louis, and the Comets are going to prove it. So make sure you go and get your tickets. They are back for the 25-26 season of Hot Winter Nights. Fellas, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. We'll take a break. We'll come back. The Zone. We'll talk with Matt Lane, talking some Chiefs. KCSN up next on The Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes hanging out at the Soccer Dome. Comets get their season underway a week from Saturday. 913-912-4810. The Chiefs get underway again on Sunday. Their playoff push gets underway Sunday at noon. Joining us now, Matt Lane from KC Sports Network, the KC Laboratory Podcast, joining us here in the zone. Matt, what's up, brother? How you doing today?
Listen, we're doing good. We're recovering from what has been a rough stretch of weeks of Chiefs football, but that's okay. It all turns around from this point on, and everything is only up from here.
Yeah, it's been a while since the Chiefs took care of the Commanders on October 27th. It seems like it was a lifetime ago how we were feeling coming out of that one, getting ready for the Bills, a bye week, and the Broncos. Like, man, you sit there 5-3, you go 2-0, you're 7-3, and you are leading the division because you've got the tiebreaker over the Broncos, and boom, shakalaka, they are right back to being where they were. Now they're 5-5, Matt. So we know and have talked about the Bills game. So what happened? What did you see in this Broncos game on Sunday, and what's the takeaway there before we start to look ahead and different things with this Chiefs team? What did you see there in Denver as to why they came away with a 3-point loss?
Yeah, it's more of the same stuff that has been happening all year. It's just it keeps happening. The Chiefs have had this weird situation this year where their offense is actually pretty good, but in a lot of high leverage situations, a lot of these clutch situations at the end of the games, they're not that good. They're middle of the pack on third downs. They're middle of the pack in the red zone. They've been one of the worst teams when trailing in the fourth quarter at this point in time of the year, which is stuff that's not usual for the Chiefs. Usually, they might have ups and downs throughout the game, but when it comes to those types of situations, that's where they've been really good. And this year's kind of played out the opposite. So once again, kind of like the Bills game or the Eagles game or the Chargers game, the Chiefs just seem like they kind of got outplayed in the crucial moments of this game throughout the whole thing, and that led to yet another loss. And they seem a little confused on the easiest way to fix that going forward.
Is this a team that lacks confidence and lacks belief, maybe, the way that last year they just, on the field, people watching, analysts, maybe the other team, just knew that the Chiefs were going to find a way to win that close game?
Yeah, it does feel like it doesn't feel like they are the boogeyman of the NFL anymore, right? It doesn't feel like maybe the Super Bowl did it, but it honestly almost felt like it was slipping a little bit last year, and then they were just still making everybody pay at the end of it. And I don't know if the Super Bowl was the final straw, but teams don't seem afraid of the Chiefs anymore. Every team that they go up against it seems like they have a little bit more energy. They have a few more, I don't want to say gimmicky things, but very specific game plans designed to beat the Chiefs, so it almost seems like they're a little bit better prepared. They try a little bit harder, and there's no longer this kind of fear of, oh man, if we're not perfect, the Chiefs are going to beat us. It almost as if teams do think that they know going in that the Chiefs are a very beatable team and that they are able to do it. And it didn't feel like that at any point in time over the past 5 years.
It just feels like it's trying to find ways to make yourself feel better about this Chiefs team sitting 5-5. If we look through and go, man, that interception in the end zone against the Eagles, they were about to go up 4. Instead, the Eagles go down and score. Now they're down 10. They end up losing by 3. I mean, that Jags game, pick 6 at the goal line, 14-point swing there, changes everything. Boy, Broncos, you hit Xavier Worthy, or man, if Jawan Taylor just doesn't have an illegal formation, you win that game. Problem is, those things all happen as to why they're 5-5, and sort of, you go, okay, are they that bad, or they lost a close game against the top team in the NFC? They lost, or one of the top teams in the NFC. Rams seem like maybe the best right now, but also a team that's tied for the best record in the NFL in the Broncos, a team in the Jags that are in the playoffs. And looking back, Matt, to this game specifically, I know that we can look at the other games, but I was thinking about this last night. We haven't talked about it on the show yet, so I haven't really given my opinion on it. But if you could change one play in that Broncos game, what's the one play that you would flip in that game and feel good about this team sitting 6-4 instead of 5-5?
Ooh, I mean, Okay, I think the majority of the Chiefs' fixable issues, and fixable is a strong word, but the majority of the stuff that I do think this team needs to fix if they want to make a Super Bowl run is on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
However, in that particular Broncos game, I think they get the win if on 3rd and 15, Steve Spagnuolo doesn't rush 3 with Leo Chenal as a spy and just give Bo Nix all the time he needs to eventually find Cortland Sutton finally breaking away and being open to pick up that 3rd and 15. I think the defense backing away from whether it's just a 4-man rush or actually bringing pressure or trying to confuse Bo Nix, like ultimately that play right there, once they completed that or converted that, it really kind of like that was the ultimate nail in the coffin. I don't think that the Broncos were going to win that game if we saw the typical Steve Spagnuolo cover 0 blitz or whatever he wants to throw out on that spot that actually makes the quarterback work for it. I think they kind of made it easy for them on themselves.
Yeah, that was at the their own 21-yard line, and the 2-minute warning was the next play. So they would have been punting at the 2-minute warning and 3 timeouts for the Chiefs. So let's even say it's an awesome punt and 50 net yards. The Chiefs are taking over at the 30-yard line with less than 2 minutes to go, roughly, and 3 timeouts to go and win the game in a tie game. That's an interesting one because I wasn't even thinking like that specific, like or that late in the game. Like my view was, I think what I would land on, I think some would pick the Xavier Worthy play in the second play of the game where, all right, you hit that one and it opens things up and the Chiefs are rolling and the confidence is there and it's like, all right, they're back to being who they were. I would line Juwan Taylor up legally in the formation and give them 1st and goal at the 2 in a 6-6 tie game. And I think if they punch that in, they're up 13-6. This defense plays well from ahead. The Broncos don't really play. I mean, they've been able to come from behind, but they've been doing that against some teams that I don't think are necessarily a team that wants to play from in front like the Chiefs do. I just think that changes the rest of the complexion of the game. But you're right. I mean, maybe specifically there at the end, they convert on that particular 3rd down and 15, they get the ball back, and then it would be their 3rd opportunity to go and put points on the board. And I would have to imagine that 1 out of 3 the Chiefs would come through there. But it does feel like we go back and say one play here or there. And last year there were so many teams that could say the same thing about why they lost to the Chiefs if you change one thing here or there. And so is that? I guess it's of two minds. Is that trying to convince yourself that they're a good team and they're that close to going on a stretch run? Or is that reality that, in the NFL and with this team against the playoff teams, they haven't made those plays when it's mattered the most the way that they did last year and on in the stretch run in 2023 after they lost to the Raiders?
It's a tricky part about this team. Like, I think what I was even thinking about, too, like I agree yours with the Juwan Taylor lining up. I would even throw the Rashee Rice, either one of the drops probably in there. Probably makes a pretty big difference, right? But I get a little nervous going too early in the game, and this kind of gets to the next point is there was a lot of games played after a lot of these plays that the Chiefs were still the Broncos still outperformed the Chiefs, like after a lot of these plays. And sure, any one of them could cause a different effect of the Chiefs feeling more confident, the Broncos having to press a little bit more. But when there was still a lot of football left to be played after some of these plays earlier in the game that could have changed it, I don't know right now if I have the utmost confidence that the Chiefs would 100% outplay their opponent, because they have been, like we're talking about, out-executed in these very specific moments. And, yeah, you can, like Andy likes to say, you can pinpoint little mistakes here or a singular play there that impacts the game. And if they clean those up, their record's looking better. But the bigger issue is they keep getting in those positions, right? They keep getting in spots where a one interception against the Jacksonville Jaguars changes the entire game. Huge play, don't get me wrong, but the Chiefs should be good enough that a singular play doesn't swing the pendulum that far from a win to a loss. And I think that's where my bigger issue with this team comes in, and this was part of the issue last year. You're living on a very thin margin when one play can have such a massive swing, positive or negative, and there's 59 minutes and 30 seconds of football played outside of that singular play that can also change the outcome. So, this is just kind of a mentality thing for me. Put the game away in the other plays so that way one play doesn't have to have such a big impact.
Yeah, and it's a team that, Andy Reid has talked about, cleaning some things up and shooting themselves in the foot. that Rashee Rice drop, I think, is interesting. The one on the second drive of the game when they're sitting there at 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line, and Rashee Rice is running that shallow cross with Hufanga behind him. If he catches it, he's still running, and it's certainly not 2nd down and 10 when, Juju Smith-Schuster then gets called for the holding penalty, and they end up, kicking the field goal there to tie it at, or to be down at that point, 6-3, because then, the next possession, they drive down the field and they get into the red zone at the Denver 19-yard line. And then Josh Simmons is called for the hold. They kick the field goal to tie it at 6 apiece. Then they, come out in the first possession of the third quarter, and they're sitting what should be a 1st and goal from the 2. Instead, it's 1st and 15 from the 22, and Mahomes throws an interception. Like, those are 3 drives that they got all the way down inside at one point the 10 without the penalty, but all 3 of those in the red zone, and they came away with 6 points and an interception. And you don't beat the Broncos that way, and it's sort of what you were talking about in red zone and things like that. This team getting ready for the Colts, and another quarterback in which, Matt, we look at and say, Mahomes is better than. And boy, if that quarterback beats you, you tip your cap. I just don't believe that Bo Nix is going to make the throws when it matters. And he did. I don't believe that Daniel Jones is going to continue playing the way that he has this year. Maybe the last 2 weeks is closer to what Daniel Jones is with the Colts as opposed to their first 8 games of the season when he was amazing. Can you explain why, you talked about that 3rd and 15, and I think that's a perfect segue into my next question. They bring 3 and Chanel Spies on 3rd and 15. Absurd. Against Bo Nix. That is a guy that when he's sped up has problems with decision making. Can you explain why Spags blitzed only 24% of the time against Bo Nix? And if you're guessing, would that flip against Daniel Jones and try to speed him up the way that it didn't work in trying to sit back and play coverage against Nix?
Here's the issue with the blitzing right now. I think they should have on that play, don't get me wrong, but the Chiefs have been really inefficient blitzing this year. When they blitz, their pressure rate is actually dropping lower than when they rush 4.
Beautiful.
They're one of the lowest in the league right now in terms of getting pressure when they do send extra bodies. Like, the blitz just simply isn't working, and they're still blitzing at a relatively high rate, not quite as much as years past, but I also think that's because Spags is kind of adapting a little bit and realizing that they're not getting home, and it's costing them in coverage when they don't get home. So it's 2 parts of they maybe aren't executing quite as well as they have in years past. Chris Jones taking a half step back from what he has been probably doesn't help. They don't have a ton of speed off of the edge. And then I think teams are just better prepared for it. Teams have a lot of film on these Spags blitzes because they played a lot of football. They played a lot of extra football over the years in these high-leverage games. You've seen a lot of different looks and formations from this defense. You can start to build a better catalog of all these plays and these design blitzes that Spags has drawn up. If you have them on film and you're prepared for them, you stop them, you muddy them up with your pass protection, now you have less guys in coverage. So I do think they've been significantly less impactful this year when blitzing, and I do think that's getting in not just his head a little bit, but also it doesn't make logical sense to keep blitzing if it's not effective. So do they do it against the Colts? The Colts have given up 15 sacks over the last 3 games. Daniel Jones has clearly played his worst football the last 2 when he's been under a ton of pressure. It'll be an interesting back and forth battle to see if the Chiefs go back to the blitzing well. Do they try to let 4 get home? It's stuff that they haven't done particularly well this year is impact the opposing quarterback in a meaningful manner when they're blitzing. So I don't know if this is the game where we really see them break it out based on how little they did it against the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix.
Yeah, visiting with Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Daniel Jones, oddly enough, when blitzed and not blitzed, has the same exact quarterback rating, which is crazy. When he's blitzed on, and just looking at the last 2 weeks, I should say, not on the season, but the last 2 weeks, when he's been blitzed, he's got a 76.6 quarterback rating. When he's not blitzed, he's got a 76.6 quarterback rating. That's, incredibly random and coincidental, but it sort of shows that. And by the way, in those 2, when he's been blitzed, it's 35 dropbacks. He's been sacked 6 times. Not blitzed, 60 dropbacks. He's been sacked 6 times. But he also has 3 interceptions when he hasn't been blitzed versus just 1. So I do wonder, we look at the 12 sacks the last 2 weeks for Daniel Jones, Matt. and it came against teams that are number 2 and 3 in sacks this year with the Falcons and the Steelers. So while Daniel Jones has taken those sacks and he's fumbled 6 times and thrown those interceptions, it's clearly because of the pressure that's been put on him in those particular situations. The issue you have, though, is can the Chiefs put pressure on Daniel Jones? Do they have to blitz? Do they not blitz? And can they get there? And that's been an issue all season long. And so I have no faith that they'll be able to put pressure on Daniel Jones. I would say if it's me, Matt, I'm run blitzing, I'm pass blitzing, and if Daniel Jones beats me deep with Alec Pierce, and I know he's going to get a big contract in the offseason, if he beats me deep with those guys and Josh Downs, and he's putting dimes out there with McDuffie in coverage or whoever, then I'll tip my cap. But what I can't do is let Daniel Jones sit in the pocket because I'm not pressuring him and find Pittman and Warren and those guys intermediate routes and just keep moving the chains.
I think that's the way you have to live in this game. It's a tough matchup for the Chiefs defense even across the board. The Colts are the number 1 offense from going under center. The Chiefs are the worst defense defending under center. The Colts are the number 2 offense throwing out of play action. The Chiefs are the worst defense defending play action. So it's a bad matchup across the board for this Chiefs defense. I think you just kind of have to grit your teeth, bite down, defend the run. Don't let Jonathan Taylor beat you, number 1. And then, if you're sending run blitzes, if you're sending extra guys in the box to stop Jonathan Taylor, go ahead and just have them full send all the way to the quarterback after and not try to recover and, get back out into coverage because you're not doing a good job of that as is. Just try to go make Daniel Jones feel uncomfortable when they're not running the ball. Because I think the Chiefs defense just needs to make this game a little bit muddled, a little bit gross to slow down the Colts offense a little bit, and they just have to really hope that the Chiefs offense can finally turn that corner and regain their confidence and belief that they are the better unit on the field, because I don't think they've been playing or coaching like that the past few weeks. So this is truly a game where I think the defense needs to just barely do enough or just do enough to allow the offense to win, just because it is a tough matchup on that side of the ball.
Visiting with Matt Lane, KC Sports Network. Okay, what do you think happens on Sunday in the game against the Colts?
I do think the Chiefs are going to realize that this is kind of like, this is the end, right? If they can't win this game, they are mathematically still available for the playoffs, but they need a lot of help. It feels like that locker room would get real sad, real down in the dumps if they lose this game. So I do think there's going to be a certain energy level that we haven't seen for most of this year. We have not seen them look like the more energetic, more fired up team, and I do think we see that. So I do think the defense can do enough to not get, get blown out off the field by this Colts offense. And then the challenge will be, can the Chiefs figure it out? Do they have answers for Lou Anarumo? Do they have, are they calling the right plays? Are they getting the right looks? I believe that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have been around long enough, have been good long enough to do that. So give me the Chiefs in this one 31-27, but I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a nail-biter all the way through, and I kind of think this is their final little hurrah here for this season if they want to make it to the playoffs.
Okay, so you've got them winning 31-27. That would give them 6 wins on the season. They'd be sitting 6-5, getting ready for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. My next question for you, the final one, would be, what do you have them as their final record? Sitting 5-5. They win on Sunday, so you think they're going to be 6-5 with those 5 games remaining. 6 games remaining. What's their final record at the end of the season?
I think they go 11-6, and they make the playoffs. I think they get the final wild card spot because just looking through some schedules, I do think the Chargers and the Jaguars don't have the most favorable schedules remaining. Having the tiebreaker over the Ravens is very helpful as well.
I was going to say, as long as the Steelers win the division.
Yeah, that was the next thing. As long as they end up tied with the Ravens, right? But if not, I think 11-6 could get them in. I wouldn't put running the table, out of reach or anything like that. But you got to give a little bit of leeway from what we've seen from this team that they could lose another game. And I do think it's also really important that the games they need to win are those Chargers games, that Texans game. Like, they need to win the games against the other teams that are competing for that wild card spot. They can't lose another tiebreaker, I don't think, to one of those types of teams.
Yeah, I look at it, and they've got 5 wins right now. And I say I'm pretty confident they're going to beat the Raiders and Titans because those 2 of those last 3 games of the year, Titans and Raiders, it's going to be where you're in some must-win situations there. So I think they take care of the Titans on the road and the Raiders on the road. So that gives them 7 wins right now, which means if they get to 11, can they go 4-1 in those other 5 games, with the only road game being the Cowboys on Thursday on Thanksgiving? And you've got Texans and Chargers at home. I think the Chargers are heading in the wrong direction. I am confident the Chiefs take care of the Chargers on that day as well. That'll give them 8 wins, which means to get to 11, can they go 3-1 in those other games, which is Colts, Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos? Can they find a way to, or I guess 4-1 at that point? No, that would be, that's 1, 2, 3, so 4, 3-1. Yeah. So can they go 3-1 in those games, Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos? And I think they can, and therefore I can put them at 11 wins and feel confident that they get to 11 wins, but it starts on Sunday. If they don't get the win on Sunday, then I can't trust them to play with a quote-unquote sense of urgency the rest of the way, because it tells me that they really don't have it this year. So.
And that's the key, right? Yeah, like they could technically lose that game against the Colts and still get to the 11 wins that we're talking about. It's just, it gets harder because then you have to win them all in a row, and you really do wonder just how much that's going to eat away at the team. Because I mean, it's difficult to always be the best team, and now all of a sudden you can't get over the hump when you really need to. So yeah, this one does feel like a must-win. It's unfortunate that the Cowboys game is the very next game, because that's being an NFC team, that's clearly the one that you would be most okay losing, because it has the least amount of impact. But if you're the Chiefs, you also want to stack together good performances. You want to stack together wins. So beating the Colts and then all of a sudden on Thanksgiving having that air sucked out of you by losing to the Cowboys wouldn't be great, but that's also the best game to lose. So they're not in a great spot. It's not a terrible spot. They still, I think, are more likely to make the playoffs right now if you look at all the playoff models than they aren't. But it does start this Sunday, and they need to show a little bit more energy and start to figure some stuff out and start to believe in themselves a little bit more, because I really don't think they're playing like they believe that they are the better team in most situations.
Yeah, if they go 1-1 the next 2 games in whatever fashion, because I think the Colts are going, if they lose to the Colts, I think the Colts are going to win that division, so the tiebreaker wouldn't matter against the Colts at that point. But if they go 1-1 over these next 2 games, they would have the mini bye against the Texans by playing a Thursday and then playing a Sunday Night Football. The Texans would have gone to the Colts the week before in a huge divisional matchup. So the Chiefs, I think, have an advantage there. And so they would be playing a team with less rest. And then they play at home to the Chargers, who play against the Eagles on Monday night that previous week. So the Chargers would be in the position the Chiefs were in, playing the Commanders on Monday night, then heading to Buffalo. Chargers would be playing the Eagles on Monday night, then heading to Kansas City with a short week. Then the Titans after that. So even if they go 1-1, they still have an opportunity to rattle off those 3 next wins, because they are, I think, better than those teams, and those teams would be on short rest, which would set up 2 games needing to win 2, Broncos at home, Raiders on the road. Even if they go 1-1.
There's paths for them, but yeah, it's a lot more work than we're used to having to do here over halfway through November.
Yep, 100%. Matt, appreciate the work you did with us here in this segment, as always, man, and the work you do there with KC Sports Network and the KC Laboratory Podcast. Enjoy the football. We'll talk in a couple of weeks when, we're getting ready for that Texans game, and hopefully it's a 7-5 football team.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, and go Chiefs.
There's Matt Lane, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Great stuff from him. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling later on this hour. We'll hear from the Kansas City Chiefs. We got Sports or Leisure at 1 o'clock. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from the Kansas City Chiefs coming up about 10 minutes from now. It is assistant coach day along with coordinators, typically coordinator and Chris Jones day. It's assistant coach and Chris Jones day. So still getting Dave Tobe, Steve Spagnuolo, and Matt Nagy, but it'll be defensive line coach Joe Cullen. Hell yeah. Defensive backs coach Dave Merritt and running backs coach Todd Pinkston, along with Chris Jones at the podium today. So there you go. We will hear from those coaches today. I was wondering, since it was assistant coach day, Sterling, if we would hear from Dave Tobe, because there are times when assistant coach day, Dave Tobe is not then at the podium, but this is a week where you would need Dave Tobe at the podium, because I would really love to know on that blocked extra point what happened. Was that Jawan Taylor or was that Wanya Morris? Because it's easy to point to Jawan Taylor because that guy came on the inside of Jawan Taylor's shoulder, and typically it's that step down to the inside, right? That elephant step that they do in on the protection. But Caliendo to Jawan Taylor's right, stepped right. Jawan Taylor stepped right. Wanya Morris went straight and didn't touch anybody. So was Jawan supposed to step down, or was Wanya supposed to step out because there was, after the snap, nobody in front of him because the guy who was close to him and Winchester crossed Winchester's face, left nobody there. Wanya blocked nobody. Jawan Taylor was blocking two guys. Caliendo was blocking two guys. Josh Simmons was trying to block a guy on the outside that was getting around because he was trying to then look on the inside as well. I would really love to know if that was Jawan Taylor or Wanya Morris, and whoever it was, why in the hell did that happen at that point? Because that could have changed may have changed the entire complexion of the game. Because again, up 4, do the Broncos kick the field goal with 4 minutes to go to make it 20-19? No. On 4th and 5, they go for it. Maybe they get it. Maybe they score a touchdown. I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs get a stop, get the ball back, and run the clock out, and they win 20-16. I'm not sure. But somebody got some splaining to do. So I'm glad that Dave Tobe is at the podium today.
I would also say, too, was the kick a little low?
Well, that too,
was
yes.
Butker's kick.
Yeah.
I think it's a multifaceted conversation. But, yeah, you're right. I'm glad Tobe is talking because special teams has, quite frankly, been a disaster this year, which is even funnier when you want to bring up the fact that I think Matt Araiza has been great. I think Matt Araiza deserves a lot of credit. It's funny. I was harsh on him last year because of the lack of touch. This year he has yet to have a touchback. He has 0 touchbacks so far through, 10 games? I've been impressed with what he's been able to adjustment-wise, but kicking's been so bad and penalties have been so bad that it's just totally overshadowed what could have been a nice special teams year.
I would also say that if Xavier Worthy continues to be used the way that he's used right now, as a guy who is a role player on a team, but not a centerpiece as a first-round draft pick wide receiver, and not a guy that you go, boy, we've got to maximize what he does for us, so there's no way we can use him in different ways. But if he's a guy that, has 27 catches through 10 games, 281 yards through 10 games, 1 touchdown through 10 games, is that really worth sacrificing and saying, well, he can't be your punt returner? Because it was stark watching the Broncos and the Chiefs in the game. The Broncos juice on their punt return, and the Chiefs, Nico has good vision, but just no burst. No juice whatsoever. Mims, Hull, gone. And that helped with a return and a kick return in the game that set up a short field for the Denver Broncos, where the Chiefs haven't had that this year. In fact, they're getting tackled before the 25-yard line a lot on these kickoff returns. And the punt returns aren't offering much either. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I give a quick pushback, at least on punt returns? I've been fine with Nico because it wasn't that long ago that we were screaming for someone to just catch the ball.
Oh, I agree,
have no issue with Nico back there as far as is he going to
he'll catch the ball.
It or drop it.
He's pretty sure-handed.
And so I don't have a huge issue with him in punt return for that exact reason. I do get where you're coming from with Marvin Mims specifically. He was electric for the Broncos back there. Maybe on kickoffs, you do want some more juice back there. But on punt returns, I guess I'm okay with Nico because I just remember not that long ago we were sitting here wondering can they even catch the rock? And by the way, what's even funnier though, Sky Moore, by the way, had a 98-yard return
I know.
for the 49ers on kickoff, and seriously,
Yeah.
you're like, of course he did.
The problem with Sky Moore was that he couldn't catch the football, and then when he did, he didn't have burst to it on the punt return. A little bit different when it's a kickoff return and he's got, a head of steam of 15 yards to run. But, on a punt return, you've got to shake, and then break, and then try to, hit the afterburners. He didn't have that, and Nico doesn't have that. Well, why can't Xavier Worthy be put back there if he's only a guy that's going to have, 2.7 catches per game? Like, is he, well, you've got to utilize him in the passing game. Well, then do it. I mean, either utilize him or not. Well, they threw deep to him that one time. Great. They do that with Tyquan Thornton, and he returns kicks. So clearly you're not worried about Tyquan Thornton getting hurt with him being a kick returner. If you're going to, I've been team no punt returner for a while, especially back in 2022, but even in 2023 when nobody could catch the football there. Or was that 2022 when nobody could catch the football? It was 2022 because that was...
I think there's multiple years.
It was 22 because Sky Moore had the return against the Bengals in the AFC Championship game that helped get into field goal range right before the penalty by the Bengals, and they kicked that field goal and won the game. But it was bad all season long, and the Chiefs had the number one offense. And my view was team no kick returner. At first, do no harm, the Hippocratic special teams oath. At first, do no harm to Patrick Mahomes and the offense. They were the number one offense. They have struggled. And we saw what a punt return, a kick return here or there can do for certain teams. The Jags, the Broncos. And yet the Chiefs and the holding penalties certainly find themselves working, behind the 35-yard line constantly. Constantly. There's no reason I would ever kick the ball in the end zone against the Chiefs. Never kick the ball in the end zone against the Chiefs because they will get tackled before the 30, and if they don't, it's probably a hold anyway, or it's a hold and tackled before the 30. But if I'm doing that on punt return and I'm saying I have a punt returner and oh man, Dave Tobe, I just can't wait to hear him say we're so close to breaking one. Dave Tobe saying we're close to breaking one is Andy Reid's, we got to clean some things up. I just got to give the guys a better opportunity there in the game. I can call some things, but I can put them in a better position. We're so close to breaking one. Well, other teams are breaking one against your particular team. If Xavier Worthy is going to be McCole Hardman, well, then use him as McCole Hardman because he's way more McCole Hardman than he is Deshaun Jackson. Promise you that. Oh, and Deshaun Jackson, return punts too. See New York Giants and that win. But Remigio offers no burst, but he does catch the football. So I'm okay with it there. And if this was 2022, I would say Remigio catch the football. I don't care. But they are struggling at times and sometimes needing a burst in that special teams. I'm fine if you say, hey, maybe you put Xavier Worthy back there or Tyquan Thornton or somebody with a little more speed that you feel like, okay, he will catch the football, but he's more Marvin Mims than he is just a guy to secure the football. I'm okay with Remigio, but in catching the football, I don't think he's ever going to drop it. But I also don't think he's going to get much more than maybe what's blocked for him that's there. We'll take a timeout. Sterling is hanging out at the Soccer Dome. The KC Comets get their season underway a week from Saturday. We hear from the Kansas City Chiefs next. All right, we head out to Arrowhead. Here is Dave Tobe.
We talked about Mims. He's a talented player, and we talked about working as a team, making sure that we were sound in everything we did. We were not. We got out of position. He planted a foot, got up the field on us, and he's got great speed. But I thought Chris Roland Wallace did an excellent job of running that guy down and making a tackle, and then our defense rising up and stopping him and holding him to a field goal. I thought was huge. After they made a big play.
What happened on the extra block?
We had an injury. We had some guys playing in some different spots, and it was a breakdown in a B gap. It's really what happened, and really disappointed in that one. It had nothing to do with Bucker. The operation was good. It was just the breakdown in the protection.
And remind me, is that a reaction just because of Kingsley's injury?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, Kingsley went down, and we had to shuffle guys around a little bit. You only have 8 guys up on O-line, and you move guys around, and it happened. I mean, we need to be able to be, it's my job to make sure that everybody knows how to play everything. I mean, I'm going to take full responsibility on that. That was a big disappointment, was that with that block for sure.
Coach, what's the mood of this team? You've been here since Andy came, and it's been a while since you guys have been with
Yeah, this is uncharted territory for us, really. I mean, it's been we had high expectations still, and you guys are still working. When you watch the tape, I was very happy with the effort. It was huge. I mean, I thought it was great. That's not an issue. The practices are good. We just got to make plays. We're just not making plays like we did last year. They made plays, we didn't make plays. If they make a play on special teams, we have to make 2 plays on special teams. That's the way we look at it. It just didn't happen, and in that game, and it's not happening right now. And we just got to keep pounding it, and not. I mean, there's no quitting these guys, and it's the attitude's still great.
Dave, for Nico, how close do you feel like he is to breaking one where you guys get the midfielder pass and create that spark?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at kick return, and you see that it's just one guy. I mean, our guys are blocking hard, and there's no free runners. Nobody's getting ear hold. I mean, so that, the way the guys are working, it's just a matter of time before we pop one, especially with Taekwon back there too. On punt, I mean, it just didn't have. That's got to be the situation. The ball, the hang, the where it's kicked. I mean, those things and opportunities. We'll get them there, and I haven't lost any faith in Nico. And Taekwon, I think is bound to break a big one here coming up.
What stands out about Indianapolis?
They're outstanding. I mean, speed everywhere. Chris Ballard is known for putting teams together, have a lot of speed. I was with him, at 2 different spots, and he takes a lot of. He knows how important special teams are, and on a team, and he's got a lot of personnel, really good personnel over there. In our ranking system that we use, they're 2. We're not too good after last week. I mean, obviously we're like 22. So, I mean, you got 22 versus 2. That gets your guys' attention. I mean, and then you see it on tape. The speed is across the board. Great speed, great returners. It's like pick your poison. Who are you going to kick to? Because they're all good. Doolin's good. Abdullah's good. I mean, so got our hands full. Just like I feel like I say it every week, but this is a special group we're facing.
Last 3 quick ones. Todd first.
Just what ranking system do you use?
It's ours. I mean, it's Mike Frazier has put it together. It's a weighted system that has 22 categories, a lot like Gosselin used to do. He doesn't, he retired, and it's a little bit more specific. And it's a good thing that we use for motivation for our guys and see where everybody's at. And I think it's important. We're not skewing it. We're 22. I mean, it's not like our system. We're here. It's it's a real deal, and I think it's it's a good indicator of where teams are.
Todd, go ahead.
Harrison missed the landing zone again on the short one.
Yeah, that was not good. Yeah.
So that's just a mishit, right? I mean,
it's a mishit. All right, on the first one, he kicked off, and we wanted it to be a returnable ball, and he got it too far. So the next one, he tries to hit it less, and then he hit it too less. I mean, too, and it was short. So you just gotta get out there and let it go.
Neil.
You know, that,
Coach, I apologize if you've been asked this, but the president criticized the new kickoff rules when he was at the Washington game. What's your reaction?
he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what he's looking at. You know, he has no idea what's going on with the kickoff rule. So, I mean, I take that for what it's worth. And I hope he hears it.
Harold, go ahead.
Just with Ty Clifford, his usage with special teams, and the offensive usage too, just how you kind of distribute that usage there.
With Taekwon?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, obviously, you know, he makes big plays on offense, you know, so there's a, you know, how much offense is he going to get compared to, you know, I think he's talented back there. He's, you know, he's got really good patience. You see him sets returns up, and he's got the burst, and, you know, and he has the ability to bounce it and outrun everybody too. So, you know, and I'm using him at gunner. I got him, you know, if he's going to be sitting on the bench, I'm going to try to get him on the field because of his speed.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, a couple things there. One, if he's going to be sitting on the bench, you want to get him on the field. I'd like to get him on the field and not be sitting on the bench for actual offensive plays. And two, Dave Tobe saying, you know, those kickoff returners, you know, Doolin and Gould and Abdullah, I mean, pick your poison. I know what poison I'd pick. Kick it to the back of the end zone. If they're that good, they're number 2. Their own rankings, the Chiefs' own in-house rankings have the Colts as the number 2 special teams unit in the NFL, and their ability to return and those kickoff returns. They've got guys averaging 29, 27, and 36 yards per kickoff return. I've got an idea. Give them the damn ball at the 35, call it a day. There's my poison I pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't
that's
seem
the
that
poison,
difficult.
'cause that poison, you know why? Because that poison's not going to kill you.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, just a little. It's just a little taste
It's a
of
flesh
poison.
wound.
Yeah, it's just a little taste of poison. Just a little taste. Give me a little taste, babe. It's not, you know, an overdose of poison. But if you keep kicking off and saying, no, our team's going to cover now. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, are you going to bank on a rookie Lane dropping the football and going out of bounds at the 1-yard line? Well, yeah, that happened. Therefore, it's awesome that we keep kicking the ball. Or are you going to have one go into the end zone that you wanted returnable and one fall short of the landing zone because it was a mishit and he tried to be too perfect with it and didn't kick it far enough? I know how he can kick it far enough. I think he can get far enough in through the end zone. Stop having to worry about, you know, maybe that's affecting his field goals. He's spending so much time trying to learn how the touch to kick it down inside the 10, you know, with hang time, or driving it as a line drive, just different types of the height on those kicks and the dead kicks and all of that stuff. You know, in the years past, he would just, you know, boom it through the end zone and then go kick field goals. And now it's like, oh, you know, technique and field goals, he's doing this and that, but also, you know, that touch on the kickoff. Yeah, I mean, that's all he does is kick the football, so it shouldn't be, you know, in theory, that big of a deal. But, you know, maybe it's a correlation causation with Butker and what's been happening this year. I don't know, but I don't need them to pick your poison against guys that are averaging almost, you know, over 27 yards per return. That means if you kick it to the 10, they're already past the 35. And Abdullah's averaging 36 yards per return. So if you kick it to the 10, he's at the 46. It's stubborn. It's arrogance. That's what it is. It's hubris of like, no, Andy Reid. No, we run RPOs. This is what we do. We kick off. Here's Spags.
Look, a little disappointed in the way last week went. It was another of those situations where we would like to find a way to help win the game at the end there. That didn't happen. So we're disappointed there, but we've moved on. In this league, when you get to Wednesday, everybody's the same on Wednesday morning. They're trying to win the next game. So that's what we're kind of focused on doing. So with that, I'll let you fire away, which I know you're going to. Go ahead, Sam.
A lot of attention just on that third and 15.
Yeah.
Just wondering if you could go through that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they made a better play. Their receiver outworked the corner. We decided to play. We had not played that coverage all game long. And then we were hoping to get a little bit more out of the pass rush. He got a little bit out of whack, and he stepped up and made a good play. So I give them a lot of credit. That was a key down. That was big. I thought we had a chance to get it back to Patrick there.
You guys finally made Christian Fulton active. I guess what led to that?
Well, we've been trying to get him back out there for a month or whatever it's been. But first it was the health, and Then when we finally got over that hurdle, then it was, when Dave and I talked, is he ready mentally? You got to remember, and this is where, and I talked to Christian, he's been in a tough situation. If you guys go all the way back, when we got him in OTAs, he didn't practice a lot, he was hurt. Got to training camp, he was hurt. Then he went through, so he's really a rookie in the system. So there was a couple weeks there where it was about, does he have it all down now? And that took a little, and then we got to the bye week and said this might be a time to get him out there, so that's what we did.
Coach, Charvarius Ward coming back, do you expect him to be able to play?
I don't know that. I love Travarius, and when he didn't he get was it a concussion or something? Has he been playing since then? Did they? Yeah. And I remember I texted him right after that because I happened to see it on TV. I'm not really sure. He's one of my favorites because he was here and did a lot of good things for us. So I look forward to seeing him. He's going to be the enemy though for 60 minutes. But I like Travarius. He's a good kid.
See more Christian Fulton, just an evaluation of his performance. He wasn't in some of those third and longs too, especially the first quarter. And then Noel Williams, I know a lot of people.
Yeah, well, we can't get everybody out there. There's only we had some packages for Noel. We really didn't get to them. And there's only so many corners out there at one time, especially when we didn't play Trent as much in nickel. So we'll see how the reps go this going week. But both of those guys are probably got to play at some point for us. And I thought Christian did a pretty good job. He had that one that I'm sure he would have liked to have back, that long pass play. But we're going to need all these guys down the stretch here.
What's your message to the team with the heightened sense of awareness, knowing this running back that you're about ready to face on Sunday?
Yeah. Joe Cullen, we start off with the run meeting in the morning, and he brought up the point that I always say, we've been faced with this challenge a lot this year, other years, and when our guys as a unit, as a group, put their mind to playing good run defense, I believe we can do that. It's when we get out of whack a little bit and see something that's not there or take a chance here. So hopefully we play good, solid group unit run defense. We're going to need to do that again. And to me, where he's really scary, this running back, is that when he pops it or gets in the second level, we all know what kind of speed he has.
Is there something you could take from your success against when Derrick Henry was maybe at his peak?
A little bit. I mean, maybe different backs in some regards, but all those guys. I mean, when there's an elite run, it seems like we have more and more of these. But when these elite running backs keep popping up, I mean, the focus is going to be on that first. I just don't believe you can go into a game and not say that that's the primary goal, because if not, and they get two-dimensional, this is an efficient offense. We know that.
Coach, Chris Jones had a comment after the game about maybe the Broncos knew what you were doing. Did you have a conversation with him about that, or did you feel like you guys were kind of showing what?
I guess the best way to find out if that was true is ask Denver. No, I wasn't aware of that. I don't. Listen, it's like we pick up on things offenses do, and maybe they think they got it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I don't know.
Last two, sure. Todd and the Nick.
An assessment of their quarterback, Jones. Looks like he's got some new life there. You guys faced Steich's teams before to cover those spots.
Yeah.
What's Jones doing?
I don't know. He looks like he functions really. We've seen this around the league, right? The quarterbacks kind of go from team to team, and all of a sudden they find a scheme or a coaching staff that it really fits, and it feels like they fit the pieces together pretty good there. There's a lot of talent on this offense. We're talking about the running back, but the slot receiver is really good, and let's not forget about this tight end that we're about to face. He's real, and the two wide receivers on the outside. So I think what they've put together is a real good group of talent, solid offensive line, and a quarterback that knows how to play football. I remember when he came out, it's hard to believe it's 7 years already. It feels like it was just yesterday, but I remember him coming out and saying, now there's another athletic quarterback. Now, they don't do as much of that with him, but I think he's got a lot of different ways to beat you, and he looks like a really intelligent quarterback to me.
Nick?
Yeah, Steve, with how efficient their run blocking scheme is and how they play action pass off that, what are the challenges of being able to balance?
Yeah, anytime a team matches the play action with the run really well, that's tough. It's toughest on the second level defenders, our safeties and linebackers. And we always talk about reading high hats and low hats, and we study that. There's a tape that's put together every week. And so hopefully our eyes will be right, and when they throw it, we're playing the pass, and when they run it, we're playing the run. I mean, that would be good defense.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks. Yeah.
All right, there's Steve Spagnuolo. Disappointed they didn't get the win against Denver, and moving on from that, 3rd and 15, he said they made a better play. Their receiver outworked our corner. Thought we'd get more out of the pass rush. Really? You thought you'd get more out of the pass rush by bringing 3? Is that real, Spags? Like, I agree with their receiver outworked your corner because your corner started jogging and throttling down when Cortland Sutton was going across the field. And as Jalen Watson started, slowing down and thinking, okay, the play might be over, Cortland cut back the other way, which is why Jalen Watson, who was running with Cortland Sutton, or jogging at that point, was like 7 yards away on a quick cut like that because, their receiver outworked our corner. Well, you know what can't happen on 3rd and 15 in a game that's tied at 16 and there's 2 minutes left to go in the game? Getting outworked. If he gets outworked in that situation, get his ass off the field. That should not be acceptable on the team. It shouldn't be acceptable. And if he's going to do that in that situation, find somebody else that at least will work in that situation. Because you can coach and plan around certain things. What I can't plan around is a wide receiver stop working in the middle of a play and thinking that it's over. Now, I think it's foolish to think that they were going to get better out of the pass rush, get more out of the pass rush. I think that is absolutely foolish. But it's inexcusable that a receiver would outwork his cornerback on 3rd and 15 because Leo Chanel was in pursuit. And if Jalen Watson stays with Cortland Sutton, there's nowhere for Bo Nix to throw the football, and he throws it away, and they're punting. The only avenue he had was for Jalen Watson to stop working and Cortland Sutton to cut back the other way and beat him. That was literally the only chance they had on that play. And it took one guy out of the 11 to not do his job till the whistle, and they extended the drive. Unacceptable. He said Noel Williams, they had different packages for Noel Williams, but they didn't get to him. So, that's why Christian Fulton played and Noel Williams did not. I don't know.
I don't mind giving Christian Fulton the shot just to see what he could provide. I didn't think he played a particularly good game, but it also wasn't a large sample size, so I don't want to draw too much conclusions there.
Yeah.
But it is intriguing to see the lesser snap count of Noel Williams as the season's gone on because it felt like he came on so strong. I don't know if they're seeing something of, okay, he started off strong, but now teams have a book on him and he's getting picked on. But it did feel like Noel Williams has taken a slight downturn, not just in snap count, but production as well.
Well, he played his highest number of snaps against the Bills, right? I mean, that was his season high as I'm looking at it. And it was like, okay, Noel Williams played, 44 snaps, played almost 70% of the game against the Bills, and then goes to 0, after the bye week with, Christian Fulton playing all of those snaps and those reps. Like that seems incredibly random that you would do that with a guy that you didn't feel confident enough after he was healthy to play, that he knew everything he was supposed to know on the field so he could go out there and play. Now, Fulton only played 9 snaps. So it ain't exactly like Christian Fulton was out there as the main guy the whole time because they didn't play McDuffie in the slot. Here is Joe Cullen.
First downs, when you look back at it, is it your issues? Did they do something really good?
Not necessarily. I think for us, number one, it's the mindset of you have to be able to finish, and that's what we talked about at the beginning of the week when we went back and reviewed the tape. There's a few things internally that schematically that we talked through as an offense of what we want to do, and it's creating that ownership from the coach's side of okay, what plays are we putting in, what are we running, and then when the play is called, there's a lot that goes into that in that moment of making sure we have it the right direction or running the right. There's so much stuff that goes in with a route. Is there a conversion? Is there not? Is it? There's so many things that go into it, and I think in that moment when you got to finish the game in 4 minutes, whether it's tie or whether you're winning and finishing with the ball in your hands is our job. No matter how you do it, we didn't do it. Plain and simple. And that's been our focus is, okay, how are we going to get in that situation again and win the game? Stating the obvious, it hasn't been done much this year, with the 0-5 number that's out there. So we take that serious. We understand that, and we all want to make sure that we're locking in on our jobs.
As you can hear, Matt Nagy, not Joe Cullen, Matt Nagy.
Situations, how do you see Andy Reid get the entire coaching staff to kind of buy into some of the changes that need to be
Well, he's the best leader in these moments right now. When you get into that, is like, okay, schematically, are we putting our guys in the best positions possible throughout the game? And then when the plays are called and the guys go out there in that moment, are we doing it exactly how it's supposed to be done with the details? Coach Reid, when you talk about day one with Coach Reid and his organization and his team, the number one thing you talk about and you learn as a player and coach is details. That matters. You got to be careful of going over the top with it because you want players to play. But there's reasons why we do things, and I think all of that in that moment throughout the game, that was a big part of it, not finishing the game, but there was much more that goes into it throughout the game to not put us in that scenario.
Matt, just along those lines, the two deep overthrows by Patrick on the first series, what did you see on those, and what do you figure is at play when they miss by a tip like that?
Yeah, so we got to hit on those when we throw them. We got to make them connect. And I know we've talked about giving a guy an opportunity. Even sometimes we'll use the phrase, if he's covered, he's uncovered. And so sometimes being able to, give yourself a chance to catch the ball. That's what Pat was upset about with himself, is making sure he gives the guy a chance. On both of those, the overthrows, you just don't have a chance. Love the mentality of what he did. There's two other throws in that game where we went downtown and we had a 47-yard defensive pass interference and a 41-yard that's hidden yards that you got to keep that going. But especially early in the game, we want to connect on those.
Is it oversimplifying for him to say, I got to not worry about being too fine? I mean, he was making a point of saying maybe he shouldn't be.
That's probably the easiest way to put it. Yeah, just don't try to be perfect with. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the history of this game. He's super accurate. He can make throws that people can't make. When you're throwing a post alert over the top, which both of those basically were, sometimes just put it in the vicinity and let your guy go make a play. And I think, trust me, right after that series, when we went 4-and-out and punted the ball, no one was more pissed off at himself than Pat on that sideline. He was at himself. So I think that speaks to where he's at.
Matt, with a Lou and a remote defense, what type of challenges are involved in that?
Yeah, a lot. He does a great job. He knows us pretty well, obviously being in Cincinnati. I think he's a phenomenal defensive coordinator, a great person. What a job he's doing right now in Indianapolis. So he presents a lot of different things, gives you different looks. He has a lot of different schemes that on the defensive side that he makes you prepare for. And so we understand that. And I think, for us, just going back to that game we just played, you don't make it real hard. You keep it real simple. Like just play the game, play fast, and stay away from penalties, execution, start fast, finish faster, and good things will happen.
We'll go Sam and then Saran.
I mean, what stands out to you about just that last sequence? So specifically on third down, it seemed like maybe a tick late getting out of the huddle. Like, does that stuff pop up as you review it?
Not in that situation. There was times throughout the game where maybe there's something, where you run into some issues with substitutions or, if there's a motion and a shift. I feel like we did a pretty good job with getting that set. And in those moments, like, you want to keep things as simple as you can so guys can play fast. But for that play in general, nothing stood out for us with that.
What on the blitz there?
Yeah.
Just not communicated, probably not seen ahead of time.
Are you talking about with the sack?
Yeah, the third down.
Yeah, there's again, it goes into some details without getting into scheme.
Yeah.
They did a good job with what they pressured. That was good, and we didn't. They got us. They got us on that one, and just credit to them.
Last one, Saran.
Coach, I know there's a lot of talk about the deep ball, but you don't have a lot of targets, especially for like Rice and Worthy in the intermediate. Is that is there a reason you haven't? Is it something you just haven't got to? Is it something you think you could be better at moving forward?
I think we could be better at it for sure. Last year it was so much of not downfield. This year it's more downfield with that aggressive mindset, being able to connect on those. I really don't care what it is. I really don't. For us, the mentality right now is let's make sure that wherever we're at conceptually with the play, if it is intermediate to those guys, which they're good at, let's take advantage of those and let them run after the catch. That's okay. But when we take these investment shots downfield, let's connect on them. And then, again, we're in a place right now where we understand the sense of urgency as a group collectively. We know where we're at. I will make it loud and clear. There's no other people or players around that I would rather be around to go do this thing the right way. And we understand where we stand, and we got to do it. It's like everybody said, you can't talk, you got to do it. That's our mindset. We can only go 1-0 this weekend, and that's it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, there is Matt Nagy, and hopefully they do go 1-0 this weekend. We'll find out. But third down, he said that wasn't an issue there, getting the play in late on that third and 10, or whatever that was when they got sacked there, the final play from scrimmage for the Chiefs before they punted it away and never got the ball back. Because, again, they got to the line late. You've got Patrick clapping his hands, trying to get the snap from Creed Humphrey, and Kareem Hunt goes to the wrong guy to pick up the blitz. But not a problem from Matt Nagy's standpoint. Here's Joe Cullen.
For a big game against the Colts, heck of a team. Coach Steichen's got them rolling. I mean, the way Daniel Jones has the offense going and shoot Jonathan Taylor, we got our hands full. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
You say you have your hands full with Jonathan Taylor. Why do you have your hands full?
Well, he's as good a back as there is. He's really a unique back where, sometimes some big backs, get downhill fast and have a one cut, and that's kind of what they do. I mean, but he can jump cut, as you say. I mean, he can get from point A to point B as fast as anyone in the league. He can make you miss. He can run you over, and he has home run speed. He has breakaway speed.
So what have you seen from Mike Pennell the 2 games he's been with you?
Oh, Mike, yeah, Mike's been great. I mean, Mike, he's a really good run defender. He's big. He's in good shape. I mean, nothing that I didn't see when he was here the last couple of years. I mean, we were all just happy that we could get Mike back, and he's played well the last couple of games.
Coach, anything you tried to emphasize to Charles Minihue? There seems like there's moments where he's starting to come back to maybe being the player he was, prior to the injuries. But are you looking for more consistency? What's the message?
No, just finish with Charles. I mean, he's getting even last week. I mean, he had on the intentional ground, and he had the quarterback wrapped up. Maybe just a little bit better finish, and the finish in a couple of the games prior to the Washington game. I mean, where you're right there, have an opportunity to get him down. And that's really the whole group is finishing on the quarterback, and now he's on the ground, and it's not a pressure, but it's a impact sack.
Joe, what is your assessment of George Karlaftis?
George, I love him. I mean, he plays with relentless motor. He's having a great year. He's physical. When you add a lot of things up, he does a lot of things really well. I mean, he plays the run well. Coach Spags will ask our ends to be versatile, drop in coverage. He does that well. He's physical at the point of attack in the run game. You look at his hits, hurries, and he's another one. I mean, you'd like to get a few more of those hits and hurries to get the quarterback on the ground, but when you stack them all up, he's having as good a year as he's had.
Joe, for your front four, what is the potential pass rush rise for them to reach down the stretch in the playoffs?
Well, I think you gotta look at where we are right now. It's never good enough, but I thought there were signs in the Denver game. That was a team that only came, 10 sacks the whole year, and not much pressure on them, and bang, Coach Spags, calls a blitz first play sack, so the odds go way up. And then Chris in the red zone is a really good 4-man rush, all working together, gets him down, and opportunities to get him down. You just have to build off it. We had some really good pressure in the second half. Just keep getting better and having the opportunities, being all four working together as one, and then collectively getting the quarterback down when you have those opportunities.
Going into Denver last week, Chris said he just really wants to be better in the second half. I guess, in your eyes, how does that happen for him?
Just continuing what he did last week. I thought he played at a really high level, both in the run game. He played on their side of the line of scrimmage a lot, and it's tough. We all get double teamed. Chris is obviously going to get doubled because that's who he is. But when you're getting off the ball, playing on their side of the line of scrimmage and disrupting, he's making things easier for other guys around him. But just continuing to get better each week.
How has he done with, I know he's talked about the times he doesn't get doubled, he's really got to make a play. How's he done in those chances where he's had that opportunity when he hasn't been doubled teamed this year?
He usually wins most of his one-on-ones. And there are times, we point him out when he doesn't, but majority of the time he wins those one-on-ones. Might not result in a sack, but pressure hit. When you look at all the numbers that some of these analytical guys do, he's right at the top of the D-tackle list.
Joe, with the run offense you're going against and their scheme and everything, what mentality does the front four need to have this week against the run game?
Well, and I think, Coach Spags does a great job, and all of our coaches. It's all 11 to stop the run. But it starts up front. Make no bones about it. It starts up front. But the mentality is that we got to knock that run out so we can get them in 3rd and long to be able to have a chance to get after the quarterback. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 is not fun all day. And when you're living in that world, they usually have, Coach Steichen does a great job. They go for it a lot now. So that 3rd and 2 becomes 4th and 1. They go for it, and you continue the drive. We got to get them behind the chains. And that means doing your job, playing violent, playing physical, and we're fired up for the challenge.
Last one, anyone?
With Chris playing, it looked like, on Sunday particularly, a little bit more inside on 3rd downs and obvious passing downs. Is that just a situational matchup, or is that something you might be doing more going forward?
Well, a lot of times, Chris starts inside, and sometimes we'll put him outside. Sometimes the call will dictate, but I mean, it's just based on who we're playing against, maybe the matchup, things like that, but it's all dictated on that.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate y'all. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, there's Joe Cullen. I can listen to him talk football forever. Just the voice, the accent, everything about Joe Cullen. I don't know that there were signs of the pass rush getting better against the Broncos. I don't know.
I thought it was a little better. It was a little better. We're talking in magnitudes of Chiefs, not as far as them looking like the Broncos or the 85 Bears.
Yeah, I know. Chris Jones got the sack on the first drive, which kept him out of the end zone. That was huge, obviously. And he has to win his one-on-ones, and he did. He won that particular one-on-one. Karlaftis also got there too, which forced Bo Nix to do something different, and which Chris Jones was there to clean it up, and that was great because they both had one-on-ones for some reason. I'm not sure what the blocking scheme was for the Denver Broncos there, but yeah, look, this one, you'd like to see him put pressure on the quarterback, but this one's all about Jonathan Taylor to me. You get the stops early on the running game. Put Daniel Jones into 2nd and long and 3rd and long in obvious passing situations, and then Spags can get into his bag and things like that. When James Cook and the Buffalo Bills had a play on 1st down that was not a positive or successful play to stay in line with the chains and to stay on schedule, they typically punted. That set of downs, they did not pick up a 1st down. But too often they were getting 4, 5, 6 yards. Here's Dave Merritt.
You guys would sure like to have more interceptions in the defensive backfield at this point this year. How have you feel you've had some missed opportunities, or have you guys made the most of the chances you've had to kind of get the ball back?
Yeah, I think, again, that question was asked a couple of times with the style of defense we play. A lot of times guys have their backs turned to the ball, to the quarterback. So it's not as easy to have picks. But overall, we have had some opportunities that you wish that you can have back. Just tips and overthrows are always going to be doing in every game we have, and so some of those tips and overthrows you would love to capitalize on them. But definitely would love to have more turnovers. We're harping that every week.
How do you navigate a conversation where you're thinking about, okay, do we go to Christian here rather than continuing to develop Noel, who had been playing well?
Yeah, I think, when you look at it, Christian was brought in here to play. Yeah. And I think we all know that. And so when all of a sudden a young man who's brought in here to play, when he's ready to go, you're trying to get him in there. You're trying to get him in the rotation. And so he has some setbacks early in his career here. And so he's ready to go. And so we're going to continue to try to, give Noel some snaps as well as Christian. But he was brought in here to play for us.
After kind of Trent and Jalen, is it still just kind of, wide open amongst that group of kind of maybe who's next in line to your 3rd and 4th quarters?
No, I think, you look at that defensive back room, I tell all the guys, you're all starters. You have to be ready to go. And when we put together a game plan, whether it's Jaden Hicks over another guy, who do you put in to play that particular week? It's all based on the offensive personnel that we're facing. And so, but to have the luxury of having multiple corners as well as multiple safeties is something that a lot of teams don't have. And so the fact that Noel was able to play early and get a lot of experience, that helps him out and as well as helping us out. So as far as, is it still up in the air? I think it's just a rotational deal that we're just trying to make sure that for that particular game plan, whoever we're playing against, okay, his skill set suits us a little better here.
The last couple of years, you've been talking about Jalen and all those young corners about looking for one of them to be consistent and step up. Has Jalen finally kind of reached that for you?
I think so. You know, he wished he had a couple of plays that he can have back, you know, especially this last game. But, you know, you have a guy who came in here with a free agent signing this offseason, and he came to camp with, you know, a mindset that I'm going to take care of business. And that's what he's done all year long. He sees himself as a starter, and so he was able to, you know, go out there and take the field and play for us the entire season. So, you know, you love to continue to build these young guys up and be able to have guys that can mix in and out, but at the same time, you want a guy to be able to stay in and get reps and not necessarily looking over his shoulders, wondering, okay, am I going to be subbed in and out? So Jalen's done a nice job for us.
Coach, what do you see with Warren, the tight end for the Colts? What does he present?
Strong hands at the point of attack. First of all, he can block. I mean, I think he's one of the better blocking tight ends in the league. But this kid is savvy. I mean, he has strong hands at the top of the route. He has a big catch radius, and so. But I think the effort that all those guys give is something that you can just turn on the tape and see. You see, you know, every guy over there that is just giving great effort. But tight end specifically, I think just, you know, he's just such a big kid at 6'5", and all of a sudden you throw that ball up, it's like throwing up an alley-oop, you know, to a basketball player. And so, but I think the kid has a bright future. He's done a nice job.
Last one, Todd.
How big a responsibility will your guys have to try to contain Taylor in the home run?
Huge. You put on the tape, you see him bouncing outside, you see him going up inside and being able to play, you know, vice tackle football, whereas the corners outside, the safeties inside on both sides of the runner. That's going to be huge for all of us. And so, but once it breaks through that first level and even possibly coming to that second level, we have to be able to, he's outside, I'm inside, and vice tackle him and make sure we come up with the body part. So we're going to play a big part.
All right, there's Dave Merritt. We'll hear from Todd Pinkston here in just a little bit, wrapping up the assistant coaches, and then we will hear from Chris Jones and Todd Pinkston, the running backs coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Dave Merritt, yeah, man, it's an all hands on deck. It's all 11 on the field to try to stop Jonathan Taylor, because if he gets past that first wave, that defensive line, that linebacker unit, like he gets into the secondary, and that's when he breaks off those 50 and 60 and 70-yard runs and just changing the game. And he did that against the Falcons when they won in overtime, because, you know, he had a couple of those long touchdown runs and ends up with 250 and 3 touchdowns in the game. You know, Daniel Jones didn't play well, but didn't have to play well, because Jonathan Taylor had almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that particular game, and they won in overtime. So it's everybody. And this is, to the Chiefs' personnel credit, it has been one of the better tackling teams in the NFL, and that has to continue on Sunday, because they can't let him break tackles, get out in the open. Here's Todd Pinkston.
My learning curve is just knowing the offense, learning the offense, and then learning protections, and getting the opportunity to learn your guys that you have in your room, and I think I felt like I'd excel with that.
And having been a former receiver, what was the transition like?
Well, transitioning, you're on the offensive side of the ball, so that's a plus. But transitioning, you got Coach Nash, Coach Head, Coach Reed, Coach Matei. Everybody on that offensive side of the ball helped me out a whole lot as far as learning the scheme and what I bring to the table.
You've been obviously with Andy for a while, going back to your Eagles days. But what are the attributes of a typical Andy Reid type of running back?
Versatile, guys that's going to protect the quarterback, and guys that's going to just beat themselves. And what we have now is guys that can do all 3 things, if not more. I can remember back when I was in Philly, we was in Philly, and you remember Brian Westbrook, the guys that can do a lot more stuff, do Staley and Carrell Buckhalter. Those guys can do multiple things, and that's the type of running back coach looking for.
with Richard, what does he need to learn, and what does he need to kind of continue to grow to get more opportunities?
Well, if you could tell by Rashard, he's growing and doing good things every week, and what we have to do is continue to trust the guys in the room that we have to give them some good stuff to to go by as far as like being a true professional, being a true running back, and he's done that, and we're just not trying to put too much on them, give them the things they need to learn, and go out there and perfect it so they can play fast.
What do you think you've missed these past few weeks without Isaiah? How are you ready to get him back in the lineup?
Well, I just think that I have a good room with a lot of leadership with Kareem and the other guys in there, but Pacheco brings that energy to the room and on the field, and it's just another piece that we have to the puzzle to get everything we want to accomplish this season. It's good to see him back, and we're just taking these baby steps now. We'll see what happens in the long run.
Couple more.
Most of you have to kind of hold him back. I know he wants to kind of go.
Yeah, it's he and I talk about it all the time as far as like being a walk through, being a jog through, but he's a Taz-made endeavor, and Taz is never walking. So just thinking about that. So that's a good thing for him to do because one speed is only speed, and Coach always emphasized playing fast, and that's what he do.
Last one, Matt.
You've had some game plans that have favored more the pass, and obviously this weekend there was those RPOs where it was a lot more P's than R's. How do you have the running back group just kind of focus and remain in, but maybe they aren't getting consistent work and maybe even all the work they want?
No, at the end of the day, just they know the dynamic of the offensive scheme and what we're trying to attack, and for the most part, the guys knowing that if it's a run play call, run the play. We don't control what the quarterback do because he have his reads, but in this offense and what we're doing now with the RPO system, it makes defense have to cover the field, and that's what Pat had to do a good job of doing the last few weeks. So we don't worry about that. Just whenever your time is called, just make the best of your ability when you get the carry.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
All right, there you go. There's Todd Pinkston, like that from Matt Derrick. There's been more P's than R's. The RPOs. We will take a break. There's going to be a little bit of a break between the coaches and Chris Jones. We take that break, and on the other side, we'll hear from Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we got some sports or leisure on this Thursday. Tonight right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Some Thursday night football with the Bills and Texans in action. And we'll hear from Chris Jones, by the way. Whenever Chris gets to the podium, we'll head back out to Arrowhead and hear from practice facility and hear from Chris Jones. Texans getting 5.5 points tonight against the Buffalo Bills with Davis Mills going as the quarterback. C.J. Stroud still in concussion protocol, just as Kingsley Suamataia is as well, as you heard Todd Lebo there talking about that. Charvarius Ward still in concussion protocol. His 21-day window was open for him to return from the IR, so he can be activated. He, as Shane Steichen said, is still going through the concussion protocol. He has to pass however many, 5 stages of whatever it is, I'm not sure, has to pass all of those for him to play this weekend. Steve Spagnuolo talking about Charvarius Ward with him could be, if he plays this weekend, his first game back at Arrowhead since he played for the Chiefs. And I there's a part of me that wonders, if he's able to go, you want to see him out there, because I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but yesterday he posted, yesterday was the heavenly birthday for his daughter that passed away last year on November 19th. So this guy might be returning to Arrowhead Stadium, having his first games and played in a month, a few days after, and that post on Instagram was rough, just saying,
heartbreaking, man.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Yeah, F money, F fame, F football, F the NFL, F everything. I haven't been happy since she passed. And that was posted yesterday on Instagram. So maybe it can be cathartic for him to be cleared from concussion protocol and just get out there and play. I've always rooted for Charvarius Ward. Seems like a really good dude. And would have certainly liked the Chiefs to re-sign him, and then even re-sign him after he left the 49ers, now that he's with the Colts. But we'll see if he plays this weekend. He's still going through concussion protocol. I hope he has a great game and the Colts lose. How about that?
I would agree. He's always been a guy I've rooted for. He was one of the first guys. Still remember that Seattle game, and I go, this guy's going to be a very good cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
He turned into that. I'm very excited for him. Just the way his career has gone has been incredible from a was it UDFA, traded for Parker Anger.
Yes.
And just you don't see that all the time, and then you get paid like one of the top corners in the NFL, and he is a very easy guy to root for.
Yep. So we'll see if he plays this weekend. DeForest Buckner will not play this weekend. Isaiah Pacheco, we'll see if he plays this weekend. He was at practice yesterday. He had the knee brace on at practice. Xavier Worthy, I'm assuming he'll return to practice today. Andy Reid saying tweaked his ankle. The same thing last week. That Xavier Worthy, quote, tweaked his ankle, and so he was either limited or did not practice. He played his usual number of reps in a game, and it didn't look like he was limping or hobbling while he was out there on an ankle or anything like that. So this just may be an ankle version of 2 years ago with L'Jarius Sneed's knee, that every single week he's missing a couple of practices, and then he goes out there and plays the entire game.
Don't say that, because you still feel like L'Jarius Sneed has the repercussions of that still lingering in Tennessee.
No, I'm not saying that this ankle is going to be something like Sneed's knee became for his career. It's just 2 years ago, every week it was, Sneed didn't practice. He's on the injury report, and he plays 100% of the snaps. Let's
say Jawan Taylor's knee last year. So at least he played.
There you go. We are told that both Worthy and Kingsley will return to practice today in some form. So even if they are limited, they will still be practicing, which is good for Kingsley to get through the concussion protocol, even returning to practice. Because I would say if he did not practice today, I would guess he would be out for Sunday. I don't know how quickly, you can go through practices and pass the concussion protocol if he's still not allowed on the practice field today. But the fact that he's out there practicing even in limited capacity, I would say that's good news in getting to that point. By the way, Charvarius Ward is a full participant in practice. He just hasn't been activated from the IR, so he's not on the injury report. because he's still on the IR with his 21-day window opened up. But he is practicing in full for the Indianapolis Colts. But again, saying that he has to go through all the concussion protocol, just as Kingsley does as well. But Xavier Worthy returning to practice, as I thought would happen, that he would return, that this is maybe something they have to nurse, for the rest of the season, which he goes out there and plays his full allotment of plays. So that's fine. They did the same thing with Tamba Ali. He would be out a practice or two, and it would be rest. Or, put anything else in there that you want to for Tamba Ali, because you had to. That was load management for him. Load management was, this guy knows what the hell he's doing. He doesn't need to practice 3 times this week and then play the game. So we're good. We'll see. We'll find out with what that means for Xavier Worthy. What I think it means is that he'll play and look just fine on Sunday. Hopefully, he'll play, look just fine, and Mahomes will throw it a little bit shorter to them. And yes, give those guys an opportunity to make a play and throw the ball maybe a little bit higher in the air, and let those guys run underneath it, things like that. So, here's Chris Jones.
I think it's also a huge challenge to us as a defense. Overall as a team, I think they got a well-rounded team. Their records show for it. Daniel Jones plays some really, really good football. And their running back could be an MVP front runner. So they've been very efficient with offense. They're like top 5 in a lot of categories. So for us, it's a huge challenge.
Just considering where the team's at now, needing to win every week, I guess how have you seen everyone, including yourself, I suppose, attack this week?
I think we take it day by day. Control what we can control. That's our effort. That's our attention to detail, and our ability to finish. I think a lot of times for us it's finishing. So whether it's the game, whether it's the quarter, whether it's in practice, we win the day, and we'll look forward to tomorrow.
Chris, when you're going against a run game like this, what type of mindset and mentality do you have out there?
I think same mentality every week. Control the run, force them to pass, and get after the quarterback.
Chris, where do you just feel like you guys are right now? I don't mean standing-wise, but just as a team, where do you feel like you are and how you're playing?
500. We're 5-5. So many areas we can be better in, but I think that's about details day in and day out, and eliminating penalties is a huge one. So we focus on those two and execution. I think we'll be well.
What's with the shirt?
Crown. That's an in-house thing. Yeah.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
This week, My Cleats, My Cause, just if you could just talk a little about your charity and just how much this week means to you, for both you guys and also the design shoes.
Well, I did some out-of-the-box thing this week. Tammy Reed, they're partnering to Giving Machines, and I partnered with them to promote the Giving Machines this week. So shout out to Miss Reed Sparkle. She helped me with a collab on the Giving Machines, and I'm pretty excited about it. Tech Nation Foundation, the Giving Machine. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, there's Chris Jones, My Cause, My Cleats this weekend, and the shirt that he's wearing is a picture of himself, I believe, with the word cram and an exclamation point that almost looks like a lightning bolt. He wore the same thing last week. So it's back-to-back weeks he's wearing that, and asked about the shirt this week and said it's an inside thing. Okay, there we go. Wish he was inside the pocket more. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. You're inside the zone. More zone next. Yes, the NBA, it is rolling along, already a few weeks in, and the NBA season is wild. Stars going off, rookies making noise, action does not stop, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. The craziness last night with the Mavericks ending. It's a lower slate of games, a smaller slate of games tonight, so maybe you go and play something with that Hawks and Spurs matchup tonight. Maybe you go and play something with the Warriors in action tonight. Actually, Warriors in action on Friday, not tonight. But hey, you can get ahead of the game if you want to do that with that Friday game. Sacramento, Memphis. could be a fun one as well. And don't forget the Emirates NBA Cup rolling along. Big moments, big matchups, a whole lot on the line. Don't miss out. Jump in and bet on the action today. New customers bet $5. You get $200 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Kansas only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
All right, that's right time, little sports or leisure. 913-3-810-810 is the phone number. 913-3-810-810. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Sterling is at the media day for the Kansas City Comets, and I'm going to guess that Sports Center was on tape, correct, since it said KU last night beat or lost to Duke. So that's crazy. They played back-to-back nights. That is fascinating.
That was not the right one. So Lebo, you can blame Lebo for that one. That's not me. I'm here.
I heard a Sports Center earlier. I heard a Sports
so.
Center earlier today that Lebo was in. So I don't know. And then I heard this
Lebo,
one.
Lebo, that was supposed to be a Lebo situation.
Okay.
So you can blame him, not me. I'm here. No.
I thought I missed something. I'm like, wow, they did the exact same thing back-to-back nights. This is fascinating that took place.
It would have been incredible if that would have happened.
I know, right? You would think they would have had a different score or any other different stats, but nope, the exact same thing, just played on repeat. Also, Penix having another ACL surgery back-to-back days. Clearly the first one didn't stick. So what's going on out there?
In fairness, I believe this is his third ACL injury, point. So I think that may be the actual most realistic part of that were the case.
Yes.
No, yeah, it's awesome. We're out here at the Soccer Dome, and it's a really cool place. They actually just had left, so all the players were here, signing autographs, having fun. It was media days out here, but they play their games at Cable Dahmer Arena. Their season is getting ready to get underway starting Saturday, November 29th. They'll be playing against the St. Louis Ambush. If you're looking for high-paced, exciting indoor soccer, this is the place. Go to kccommons.com for tickets. They are back for the 25-26 season with hot winter nights. Again, super fast, super exciting. You're not going to see many of those 1-0 games. You're going to see a lot more action in these bad boys. So make sure you go to kccommons.com right there and watch your games at Cable Dahmer Arena.
Look at you saying nil. That means 0. Let's hope the Chiefs have 0 more losses the rest of the way. We're playing some sports or leisure. 913-3-810-810. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 we give away to Johnny's Tavern if you get a sports question and a leisure question right. If you get either of them wrong, you lose. The question is out there available for someone to call in and request if they know the answer to it or whatever it might be. We give out the right answer when it has been answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. Johnny's Tavern, 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka, where last night you heard the Lance Leipold Coaches Show on Sports Radio 810 WHB there from the Johnny's in Lawrence. Yes, 10 locations, and we'll see what the percentage off is on Monday of that large specialty pizza, dine-in only, at Johnny's Tavern. On however many points the Chiefs score, that's the percentage off you get on that large specialty pizza at Johnny's Tavern. So let's hope it's 30-something% off, or 40, or 50. Hopefully it's just a higher percent off than what they're giving out in Indianapolis. Let's hope that is the case. Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence, not in Indianapolis, as I said earlier today. Luckily, very quickly corrected by you guys, because that would have been odd for the Comets to go all the way to Indy to play their home games. That wouldn't really feel like a home game at all.
Yeah, that would that'd be a road battle right there.
Absolutely. All right, 913-3-810-810. That's how you play. That's what we're playing for. We are still well behind from the press conferences, and so we will try to get to as many people as we can in what could be an abbreviated version of sports or leisure. So I've abbreviated the categories. Since an abbreviated version, I've just simply gone with general NFL today. I'll save the other categories for another time. Try to get as many contestants as we can in the limited amount of time that we have to play. What about on the leisure side? What are the categories there, brother?
We have potpourri.
All right.
We have one-hit wonders. And we have riddles.
Okay. Potpourri, one-hit wonders, and riddles. And on the sports side, I made it easy for you. It's NFL. That's what it is. NFL category. We'll mix some things up there on that. 913-3-810-810. I'm ready to go. Sterling, you ready to play?
I am ready.
I'm ready to clean some things up.
Yep, you know what? We do need to clean some things up. That is true. The wrong Sports Center got played. We said the wrong person that was at the podium. We said Joe Cullen. It was Matt Nagy. I said that Cable Dahmer Arena's in Indianapolis, already thinking ahead to our Colts conversation instead of Independence. So we're going to clean some things up, and it's execution, and we'll get right back to our winning ways. So I appreciate that, Michael.
The hard part is I've been flawless, so it just feels like I'm being let down right now, Just a lot of drops.
It's a team game, though. You know what I mean? So you're part of cleaning it up. Okay? So who knows? Maybe tomorrow.
There's no I in team, but there is a ME.
Yeah, that's
right. So,
that's
how I view it.
Yeah. There's also a tame. But tomorrow, you may be the one that's struggling. But we wouldn't call you out on that. We wouldn't say we're throwing a perfect game and this guy's over here striking out. It's a team game here.
I can guarantee you I will not struggle tomorrow because I will not be here tomorrow. I will be on a flight to Florida. I'm having a margarita made in my mouth. So I will not be the one. Well, I might be struggling. Yeah, that's true. I'm not a good flyer. So that might be the issue. But I will be on a plane flying to Florida on the radio time frame.
Oh, don't worry. After that, about 1:45, 1:50, you'll be on the show. 913-381-0810. Let's head to the phone lines. We play some sports or leisure. We start off with John. John, what side do you want to start with, sports side or the leisure side?
Let's go with NFL.
All right. Let's go with this one. Lamar Jackson started his 100th career game. It was his 73rd win in those 100 career games, the fourth most all-time. Can you tell me two of the other three with more wins than Lamar's 73 in their first 100 starts of their career?
Well, let's go with the free space, Mr. Mahomes. He's got to be one of them.
He is actually number one at 78.
All right.
Either of the other two that have more than Lamar's 73.
Oh, shoot. All right. Is there an era? Is he a relatively recent guy, older guy?
Both. Pretty older guy and a relatively recent guy are the two. So they completely, vastly different eras of football.
Oh, man. Rookie, Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is incorrect. John, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. 913-381-0810. Let's bring in Charles next up. That question is out there available for someone if they know the answer to it. Charles, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with, bud?
We'll try leisure and do some potpourri.
All right, we will do some potpourri. We will go with, all right, this was... Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll were the first words spoken on what cable channel that launched at midnight on August 1st, 1981?
MTV.
That is MTV. I want my MTV.
Yeah, video killed the radio star. That's what they say. On to the sports side, sir. We have NFL and NFL. We have that question out there and plenty of fresh ones as well. What are you thinking?
Let's try a different question.
All right, very good. Matt Stafford threw 4 or more touchdowns and no interceptions for 3 consecutive games. Only 2 players in NFL history that a quarterback has a longer streak of 3. Name either of those quarterbacks with a longer streak of 3 games with 4 touchdowns and nary an interception.
Free space, Patrick Mahomes.
It is not Patrick Holmes. It was not. I'll give you one more guess, even though, because free space seems like it would be an obvious one, but it wasn't the free space. Since our previous caller did get the free space in Patrick Mahomes, and that one's still out there. One more dart throw.
I'm guessing this is pretty recent.
I mean, they never overlapped. These two quarterbacks never overlapped in their careers with each other. One of them overlapped with Matt Stafford.
Yep.
4 touchdowns, no interception.
Yep, at least 3 straight games. Because Stafford was really bad this last weekend where he had only 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, and they beat the Seahawks 21-19.
Shame on him. Bad.
Scrub.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is incorrect. Charles, thank you for playing, brother. 913-381-810. Let's go to John next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. John, sports or leisure? What side are you thinking, brother?
I'm thinking sports, and I'm also going to guess Tom Brady, but I'm going to do the other question.
Well done. Tom Brady, second most wins in the first 100 starts with 76. Tied, by the way, second most with Roger Staubach, who also had 76 wins. So 73 for Lamar, 76 and 76 for Staubach and Brady, 78 for Patrick Mahomes. Leisure for you, John.
We have potpourri, we have one-hit wonders, and we have riddles.
Let's do potpourri and a fresh question. I can't remember if there was a carryover or not on that.
Not all fresh questions. What kind of bulbs were once exchanged as a form of currency?
What kind of bulbs?
Yes, a.k.a. a bulb that grew into something, but I can't really say what else because I think it'd be kind of obvious.
Man, this is just a Hail Mary one because I have no idea, so I'm going to... Oh, boy.
Very, very famous and popular. It was, I believe in Holland, was the... there was a mania. Yeah, in the Nether... Did you say tulips?
Yeah, that was the one I was actually thinking anyways, and you said Holland. And so I think...
Yes, correct. The answer is tulips. The answer is tulips. They were exchanged as currency back in the day.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, those bulbs.
Yeah, that's right. I'll give you 3 tulips for that right there. It's an odd currency. What do you get out of having that? I have no idea. On to the sports. Did we get? That's a winner, right? Yeah, that's a winner. Yeah, you got Tom Brady. Yeah. Absolutely. Just like Patrick Mahomes, you're a winner. John, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. 913-381-810 is the phone number. Hopefully, Mahomes is a winner of a 6th game this weekend. We'll find out. Jerry next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jerry, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with, sir?
How about the leisure? I'll try one-hit wonders.
All right, we have one-hit wonders. We will do Because the Night. Because the Night.
Because the Night.
Because the Night.
Any old or new?
Because the Night. This was probably, I don't know. What was it, 90s? It was also funny. It was a very famous MTV Unplugged. Because the night belongs to lovers, because the night belongs to us. Very famous Unplugged on MTV.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think it's coming.
You know it once you hear it.
But do you know the band?
I mean, it's crazy how popular it was. Like, it was crazy how popular it was.
Oh, I see. Is that might be a hint? Seems pretty random.
Something with crazy. I don't know.
Or is it a synonym for crazy? Could be.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Maybe. I'm not sure. You tell me. She.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a dive.
All right. Jerry, thank you for playing, man. Appreciate it. 913-381-810. Let's bring in Bob next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Bob, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's start with leisure.
Did you want that question that's currently out there?
Yeah, because I think I remember this video on MTV back when they actually showed videos. Was that like Patti Smith?
Okay, that is like the original one. I can give you that because correct. But the MTV one is that I was talking about. I'll give it to you because that if you knew Patti Smith, you're going to get it. It's 10,000 Maniacs. That's the
That's a lot of
one
Maniacs.
that was
yeah.
very popular on MTV Unplugged. That's why I said it's crazy because Maniac crazy. But
Oh,
correct.
wow. I do remember that now, the 2000 Maniacs one, but they actually talked about it, her and Bruce Springsteen doing it on MTV Unplugged.
So many Maniacs.
Yes, correct. And so you just got the harder part of that. So congratulations.
Nice job. Well done. On to the sports side we go. We have NFL and NFL. We have one question out there and plenty of fresh ones.
What was the question that was out there?
The question out there was Matt Stafford threw 4 or more touchdowns with no interceptions in 3 consecutive games this year. There are only 2 players in NFL history where a quarterback has a longer streak of 3. Name either.
I'm going to go with that one. Let me think here. One of them is like way old.
Well, one never
Well, I was
crossed paths
thinking-
with Matt Stafford or this other player. One did cross paths with Matt Stafford.
My gut's telling me Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Peyton Manning had 5 straight games. Dan Marino had 4 straight games. Matt Stafford with 3. So that is.
I only remember
correct.
it because I hated Peyton Manning's guts.
Well,
passion.
a lot of people did. Bob, we'll put you on hold. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling with some sports or leisure. 913-381-0810. Sterling hanging out at the Soccer Dome. We're hanging out here in studio. We're giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock playing some sports or leisure presented by Johnny's Tavern. $25 to Johnny's Tavern. 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. They've got the special on Monday. Mondays after Chiefs games, the percentage off, however many points the Chiefs score, you get that percentage off a large specialty pizza dine-in only at the Johnny's Taverns, 10 locations. Sterling is out at the Soccer Dome with the Comets with their media days earlier today. They get ready for their season opener a week from Saturday, KCComets.com. They're taking on St. Louis in that matchup on Saturday, a week from Saturday at Cable Dahmer. 913-381-810. Resetting the categories just in case you're just joining us on the sports side, since it was going to be more of an abbreviated sports or leisure. Just the NFL. And on the leisure side, Sterling.
We have riddles, one-hit wonders, and potpourri.
You know, earlier when you were doing the show and you were sort of on a little bit of an elevated area to the crowd and people that were there, and you felt awkward doing that, does it feel awkward now that almost everybody's gone and now you're just booming through the entire place, just talking randomly, and people are just in the background while you're doing a radio show?
1,000%, Jason. 1,000%.
Right. Yep. And you hate somebody that goes over 100%, so 1,000% is really shows how strong you feel about that. Good to know on that one.
I have never felt stronger about anything in my entire life.
What was more awkward, earlier when people were looking at you while the speaker was on, or now when people are randomly wondering what the hell you're doing?
I think the start one, the first
all
one,
right,
it was loud. That thing was it was was loud.
There you go. All right, 913-381-810 to the phone lines we go, and Avery next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Avery, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Hey, you guys know what's more romantic than roses on a piano?
What?
Tulips on an organ. I'll do sports.
All right, so we got NFL. Let's go with this NFL question. The Chiefs are playing the Colts this weekend, and Jonathan Taylor had himself another MVP-like game when the last time they played, when they knocked off the Falcons. He had the second game of his career, Avery, with at least 200 rushing yards and at least 3 rushing touchdowns. The 2 games is tied for the most in NFL history with 3 other running backs. Name any of the other 3 to have at least 2 games of 200 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns.
I feel like Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson, and Jim Brown probably did that. Which one should I pick? I'll say Jim Brown.
I was looking for James Brown. Sorry. That is incorrect. No, that's right. Michael, just let me know if on the stream, on the video side of it, can you see the paper in front of me? Is that what it is? Is that what's going on? Okay, I just didn't know. All right, over to leisure with Sterling. You bragger.
I'll do potpourri.
Potpourri. Okay. Avery, what was the original purpose of the tiny pocket in jeans?
Like you're supposed to put like a key in there or something.
No, but you know in jeans how you have 2 front pockets, right? The little tiny one, right? And everyone's always like, well, why do they still do that? Well, there's a reason why they've kept it, and that's really for something that no one uses anymore. But it was very popular back in the olden days when jeans started off. So what is the original purpose of that tiny pocket in jeans?
Is it for storing something specifically? Hello?
I'm not going to let you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because neither is Sterling.
Is he gone?
He's gone, Sterling.
Well, that sounds like a winner then, right? I mean,
It's not how it works.
Hey,
we're back.
You know,
if
there's not a price tag on it, it's free. Oh, you think you're the first one to tell that joke today?
Hey, guys, can you hear me? We're back. We got disconnected, and we're back.
So some tiny, old-timey thing that you used to put in that pocket?
Yes. What was it?
and we don't use it anymore?
Most people do not use this anymore. No, I think that most people do not use this.
Like something with like a pipe or something?
It is not a pipe. It is not a pipe.
I lost to the best, you know?
That is right. Hey, Avery, appreciate it, man. Thank you for all you do.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Yep, absolutely.
So he didn't get it right when I was gone, right?
No, he did not.
Did disconnect for a second.
No.
And he answered a question. Do you know what the answer is?
I didn't even hear the question, to be honest with you. I was looking through what my next questions were that I was going to ask in the NFL category, because I was looking through and I'm like, okay, let me ask this one next and that one next when you were asking. I was also sort of upset at myself for not listening to Avery ask the first joke or say what was better, and me just going, what, as I'm looking through the Derrick Henry question. So, yeah, don't need to restate the joke that he said, but whatever. 913-381-0810. That one's out there for someone to call in and request, the one specifically from Sterling. All of my NFL questions have been answered that we've asked so far. Plenty of fresh ones. To the phone lines we go, and we bring in Cajun. Next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Cajun, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I know that. Pretty sure I know that answer. And everybody's had time to Google it, and I didn't. So I'm going to say pocket watch.
Correct. You are correct, Cajun. It was meant to store your pocket watch. You didn't want it to get scuffed up when you were a cowboy back in the day, and so you put it in that little tiny pocket, but they kept it now because, like a lot of things, on your suit jacket, for example, when you have the slit in the back, well, that was meant for when you're riding horses. We're not really riding horses in blazers and suits anymore, but they still kept it for tradition. So now we all learned something today.
Well, you want to talk about why America's gone downhill. I mean, if we were still riding horses in suits and tuxedos, I mean, the way it used to be, you know what I mean? Cajun, besides riding horses in tuxedos, let's ask you this question about the NFL here for you.
Okay.
On the sports side, let's see. Let's roll with this one. I'm trying to think if there's one that might be more.
Let me tell you about my unplugged experience, too.
Yes, please, go ahead, and I'll...
It wasn't unplugged because it was very loud and electric, but in 1994, my wife and I were to 600 people that got to see Eric Clapton in the House of Blues on his Nothing But the Blues tour.
Wow. That's pretty legit. Sterling, have you ever done that?
I have not done that.
Well, there you go.
I was 0 in 94, which is a bummer, but I do like Eric Clapton a lot.
But you've lived this
I'm a big
life,
fan of Clapton.
Please Google Tampa Red cover of It Hurts Me Too. That's my favorite.
There you go. All right, so let's go with this one, Cajun.
Yep.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have lost their last couple of games to the Bills, but the week before, they lost to the Patriots. They have actually only knocked off New England once since 2001. Who's the only Bucs quarterback to beat the Patriots since 2001?
2001?
Since 2001. The only Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback to beat the Patriots since 2001.
Was Vinny Testaverde then, or was that early?
No, it doesn't have to be in 2001, just since 2001.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, was Vinny Testaverde since 2001? I don't remember.
It ain't
I'll
him.
do it, Vinny.
It's not Vinny. It's not Vinny.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much.
Have a good day, fellas.
All right. I thought Cajun was going to guess again. Okay, he gone. 913-381-0810. He exited quickly there. I appreciate it, though. He guessed Vinny. I was going to let him know it wasn't Vinny Testaverde or Pasquantino. Neither of them. It's kind of a fun answer, if you think about it. Let's go to Ty next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sports or leisure, Ty, 913-381-0810. What side do you want to start with, Ty?
I think I'll take that last question.
Yeah, go right ahead. Who's the only quarterback to knock off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since 2001, or excuse me, knock off the Patriots as the Bucs quarterback since 2001?
That'd be Brady.
Tom Brady in 2021 is the only Bucs quarterback to beat the Patriots. So there you go. Because Baker could not get it done. Over to leisure with Sterling.
How about a one-hit wonder?
Is Sterling still there?
We are back now. We got disconnected right then. So
okay,
I
great.
think
One-hit wonder. One-hit wonder he wants.
One-hit wonder.
Yep.
Okay. Blue on Black.
Oh, I saw him in concert That would be Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
That would be Kenny Wayne
Boom.
Shepherd. Saw him recently, too, actually. Kenny Wayne Shepherd was great in concert. Hell of a show.
How about that? Well done, man.
Phenomenal at concert.
Nice job. We will put you on hold to get your information. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Easy as that. Tom Brady and whatever the name of that guy was that you guys just talked about that you saw in concert recently. Sterling, nice job. Well done.
Read a book.
Well, that would
get an album.
I was going to say that wouldn't
Kenny
really,
Wayne Shepherd.
Reading Kenny Wayne Shepherd. The book was better than his concert. I'll just say that. 913-381-0810. Let's go to let's see up next. Jeff on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 913-381-0810. Jeff, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Sports. I said that Brady one.
Oh no. Well, let's give you another one here. Let's see what we got going on. Let's go with this one. We'll just have you name one of these. Devontae Adams now has his 7th year with double-digit touchdowns. He's the 5th wide receiver in history to have at least 7 years catching 10 or more touchdowns. Can you name one of the other 4 receivers to have double-digit touchdowns in at least 7 seasons?
Jerry Rice?
Jerry Rice is tied with the leader in the clubhouse. He's got 9. The other ones, you want to throw some darts since you've already won and moved on to leisure, but want to throw a dart? Sterling, if you want to weigh in and guess as well.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is tied with Rice at 9, so well done. You would, if I said name 2, you'd have got them both right. The other ones are not as obvious, I would say. Marvin Harrison Jr. with 8, and Terrell Owens with 8. So there you go. Over to leisure with Sterling.
All right.
Is Sterling there, or did he drop again?
I am there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if he knew the stuff. There's a little bit of a delay, so I was trying to be kind. Potpourri,
good for you.
One-hit wonders, or riddles?
Riddles, I guess. Easy on me.
I'll be easy on you. I'm pronounced as one letter and written with 3. I'm double, I'm single, I'm brown, blue, and gray. I'm red from both ends and the same either way. What am I? Correct. Yeah, you're not.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Good
Well
job.
done. Jeff, we'll put you on hold and get your information. Congratulations. Just that easy. Well done, dude.
Thank you.
913-381-0810. See, he called in and wanted the Brady question. Wasn't there. Still got it right. Still won the prize. Let's go to Nick next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Nick, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Leisure.
All right. We have riddles, one-hit wonders, or potpourri.
One-hit wonders all day.
All right. One-hit wonders. We will with Get Ready. So get ready.
Oh.
'Cause here I come.
Get ready.
And we don't get clues, do we?
I mean, it's up to Sterling, you know? If he's still there. Maybe he dropped. I don't know.
I did drop. Now I'm back.
It's amazing.
Get ready.
Did he answer the question?
He has not. He said, so we don't get clues, huh? And you didn't answer. So I said, well, I don't know. Maybe not. Or Sterling dropped. I'm not sure.
Wasn't it used or like a Coors Light commercial at one point?
I don't know. Doesn't sound like a clue.
I
It sounds like
will
another
just
question.
take a stab at it. And we will go with the animals.
It is not the animals.
Darn it.
It's a one-hit wonder. I like the animals.
Right. Nick, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. 913-381-0810. We bring in Shane to the game. Sports or leisure? Shane, what side do you want to start with?
Sports.
All right. Let's see which NFL question. NFL is the only category we have today. So let's go with, you know what? Devontae Adams also has double-digit touchdowns for his third team. So Devontae Adams, 7 years with double-digit touchdowns. We heard those names that were there. But he has double-digit touchdowns for his third different team. He is the third player ever to do that. Can you name either of the other two players to have at least 10 receiving touchdowns for 3 different teams?
Yeah, I think it would be, I think it's the guy that played for the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Patriots.
It's that would not be correct. I'll just say, looking through here, these guys did not do that. I'll tell you that there's a connection locally to somebody involved heavily with the Chiefs.
Maybe somebody played at K-State. No.
Maybe he played for at one point one of the coaches for the Chiefs. Maybe one of his double-digit seasons was with them.
Okay. Oh, that might be. I'll throw out a guess then. Terrell Owens.
Yes, 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys, double-digit receiving touchdowns. The other one, much more difficult. Brandon Marshall, Bears, Broncos, and Jets had double-digit receiving touchdowns for all 3 of those teams. That's over to Leisure now, right, with Sterling?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Great.
Do you want a question that's already out there, or do you want one-hit wonder, potpourri, or riddles?
Let's try it. Do you have another one-hit wonders, Sterling? Not the one that's out there. A different one.
I do. I have another one. 99 Luft Balloons.
Oh, that's the 80s classic one-hit wonder. Who is that? I've got to think. Like, thinking back
done in German as well as English.
Yeah. Ooh. I can sing it. I don't know. You don't want to hear me sing it, but
let's do it, man. Let's do it.
It's a woman's voice.
Correct.
Gosh, so that's why you don't want to hear me say it. Is it? It's like a. I'm trying to visualize it on like one of those greatest hits. 80s.
Oh yeah.
It's Nina or no?
Yes. Yeah, you got it right.
Nina.
You said it. Nina.
Is
Yeah.
that it?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Good job, Nina.
Good poll.
Well done, Shane. Nice job, brother. We'll put you on hold to get your information. Congratulations. Nice job. Just that easy. See? 913-381-810. We go to Ryan next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Ryan, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's do leisure one-hit wonders.
Do you want the one that's already out there, which is Get Ready, or do you want a fresh one? These are all pretty hard. Fairly hard.
Let's do a fresh one.
Okay, fresh one. Put your record on.
Put your
Girl,
record
put your record on. Da, 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 da.
That was
Corinne Ray.
Was that one more time?
Is it Corinne Ray?
Yeah, Corinne Bailey Ray.
Yeah, Corinne Bailey Ray. That's right. I have no idea, but Sterling says it's right. So
Love
that's
that
right.
song.
Over to leisure or sports,
Great
Ryan. We'll give you this one since it is NFL only anyway. Let's go with this one. Travis Kelce, he moved into 4th place all time for receptions in a player's first 13 seasons. He has 1,054. Can you tell me, we're up against it. Just give me one of the 3 players in front of him with the most receptions in their first 13 years playing in the NFL. He's 4th now.
Tight ends or just?
All players. Yeah, that's what's amazing about it. He's 4th, and I'll tell you, there ain't a tight end in front of him. So it's all wide receivers.
I think Larry Fitzgerald is one of the quicker ones, if I remember.
Larry Fitzgerald's number 1. Nice job. Larry Fitzgerald, number 1. Marvin Harrison Jr., number 2, and Jerry Rice, number 3. In fact, Travis Kelce is 3 receptions away from tying Jerry Rice. So there you go. should get that. If 4 receptions, he passes Jerry Rice, and that should happen on Sunday. You pass over to Michael to talk with him to get some information. Appreciate it, man. Nice job.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 913-381-0810. Final contestant here. We bring in Lee to play some sports or leisure. Lee, what side do you want to start with?
Let's go sports.
All right, let's go. Let's ask that one. All right, here's one that's based off of that question. So Travis Kelce is number 4 in receptions in a player's first 13 seasons. Can you name the only other active player in the top 6? So we know it's Larry Fitzgerald, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jerry Rice, Travis Kelce, and then one of the next 2 is an active player still with an opportunity to pass those players. But active player. Their first 13 active player receptions in their first 13 years in the NFL.
Who's still in? Is it Hopkins?
And he would be. Let's see. Yeah, because this is his 13th season in the NFL. Not Hopkins, but this fella. His 13th year in the NFL. And this is his second team.
Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen is correct. Nice job. I was going to say this is his second team, but not in whatever. Yes, Keenan Allen has 1,030 receptions, so he's 24 behind Travis Kelce. So there you go. Over to leisure with Sterling.
Potpourri, one-hit wonders, one's already out there. Surprise me. We'll do a quick one, a quick potpourri. What's the name or a title of a chef who works directly under the executive chef?
It's another frivolous lawsuit here.
Under the executive chef.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say.
What is her name?
Chef?
What is her name? Yes, that's right.
Yes, that is
done.
sous chef.
Well
Nice,
done.
good pull.
There you go. We'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. 913-381-0810 is the phone number, but we're done playing sports or leisure. That's the phone number for Monday after the Chiefs take care of the Colts for the show here in the Zone. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
Missouri, the wait is almost over. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is going live on December 1st. We are so darn close, but you don't have to wait until sign up. Sign up now. Why wait? It's silly to wait, because if you sign up today, if you join today, you will get an early sign-up bonus. That is $400 in bonus bets coming your way when you make your first $5 bet. So from live betting to same-game parlays, FanDuel is the best place to bet on all of your favorite teams, sports, and players. I've been on the Kansas side with FanDuel, rocking with Travis Kelce over on receiving yards all year long. It's been great for a little Thursday night football. I'm bummed right now I'm in Missouri. I can't use FanDuel, and I wish I could because I'm looking at this Buffalo Bill-Houston Texans line, and I love the Bills in this one. I'm putting my Sterling stamp on it, which means you should probably fade me. Doesn't matter. That's what I'm rolling with, but I'm in Missouri right now, and I can't do it. But guess what? Again, on December 1st, I could. So get ready. Sign up on FanDuel right now. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. FanDuel.com/Missouri to join today.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Early sign-up code $100 offer. Bonus bets expire 30 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Missouri. Unique user identity verification required. Post-launch $300 offer. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
All right, wrapping up the show. Sterling, appreciate the work today out there. Enjoy the next week, brother.
Will do.
There you go. I'm like, no, he's dropped again. I can't hear him. I'm going to ask him so many questions tomorrow, and he's not going to say anything. We are done. Program up next.